Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon so far. We are going to go live for some severe weather coverage probably for the next couple of hours, as we do have a potential for a couple of tornadoes in areas like Pennsylvania, Indiana, Ohio, with main concern being damaging winds, but we also could see an isolated tornado or two. We are starting off with a tornado warning though right here in the center of Pennsylvania, just to the south of State College. This is an area of activity that's been going here for the last little while now, really for the last 45 minutes to an hour, has begun to spin up some, areas of rotation. Nothing that's looked super concerning thus far, but I do think we're going to start to see this tornado risk increase more between now and about 6 o'clock. That's when I think the peak of this tornado risk will be. And this particular storm that's near Beryl and near Petersburg currently does have a nice little couplet that's developed over the last couple of radar scans. And things like this are what we're going to be looking for today in terms of the tornado risk. And this particular storm that's south of Warriors Mark does have rotation. Did have a pretty tight couplet here near Highway 45, and it's actually about to move outside of this particular tornado warning. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up issuing a new tornado warning near Baileyville and Monroe Furnace. So if you're in this area, stay weather aware, because this storm right now is moving to the northeast, and it very easily could produce the potential for a tornado over the next several minutes, as it does continue to move to the northeast over the next, again, several minutes. But Baileyville and Monroe Furnace, I would think that there will probably be a new tornado warning in that area, because this rotation's about to go outside of the pink polygon, and it was just issued moments ago. Pretty rain-wrapped area of rotation, so if this is on the ground, it's going to be very hard to see, so don't try to look outside for this. Definitely make sure that you're staying in your safe place. Further off to the north, we've had other areas of rotation as well that have not been warned so far, but nothing that's really been imminent at this point. We have a little bit of circulation that's developing just to the east of Mount Eagle, north of Mingoville, so there's a little couplet there that's developing. We got a little inflow notch. It's really not much, but it's just enough to get that storm spinning. So near Lamar, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting something there in the next little while.
Warning has been issued.
And they have gone ahead and issued a new tornado warning on this storm, and it's probably just going to be because the storm is going up to the east-northeast. So yeah, Huntington County, Pennsylvania, new tornado warning on this storm. It's the same exact storm, it's just going a different direction, so they're issuing a new one, and there it is. So that's going to be areas just south of Baileyville and Monroe Furnace and Masseyburg. So if you're in any of those locations, once again, get to your safe place, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Haven't had any sort of debris signature yet, so it hasn't been confirmed, but we still have a couplet, and it's very possible that we do get a tornado as this moves to the east-northeast over the next several minutes. So again, be in your safe place if you are in the new pink polygon. Now, this isn't the only storm activity that we have out there, even though this will probably be the most concerning storm activity. It isn't it, because we actually have some storms that are ongoing also in West Virginia. We're going to probably see a few more storms in Ohio soon, and as well as back through Indiana. Right now in northern West Virginia, the majority of the storm activity is just isolated damaging winds. Haven't had a whole lot of rotation on these storms, so as they continue to push east, I would really mostly expect a wind concern over there. Back over in Indianapolis, this is a bit of a different story. This storm has been producing at times significant damaging winds, and we've actually had a couple of tightenings with this storm. We almost had a couple of different tornadoes with this. It did not drop a tornado from what I've seen, but we did have a couple of tightenings back over north of Danville. But at this point, it does appear as if this is going to be predominantly a wind threat as it moves into Indianapolis. Now, the concern right now is that we'll be seeing damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour as this moves into Indianapolis and suburb areas like Beech Grove, Glenwood, and Franklin. So if you're in any of those locations, be prepared, stay away from windows. Flying debris is going to be a possibility as this area of storm activity does continue to move west to east over the next several minutes. This is actually a live shot here just off to the west of Indianapolis by maybe about a mile or two, right on I-70, and you actually can see in the background there, very top of your screen, there is a lot of rain falling right now, very low visibility. So this is giving you an indication right now that it's very difficult to see on the roadways once you get into this thunderstorm, and we should eventually start to see this wind threat start to pick up over the next few minutes, so we'll be waiting for that here. But this area in Indianapolis, if you are in Indianapolis, again, make sure that you are staying away from windows. All right, we're going to go back to that whenever that comes, or whenever that storm rolls in. We'll go to that live shot. We're going to go back down to the tornado warn cell just to the south of Warriors Mark, and as of right now, the latest scan showing a broader area of circulation. So not nearly as intense as the last scan, but there is still at least a little bit of rotation. That is east of Interstate 99, and again, this is just to the south of State College. I'm going to see if we have any sort of live visual of this. Let me just check where this is again. So this is south of State College. Let's see. We got a couple of live cameras in the area, but I'm not sure if any are going to be seeing this storm. Let's see. One moment, please. We actually have a live shot. This is eerie. where's Bollesburg, Pennsylvania? Let me find this real quick. Bollesburg, Pennsylvania. That's back up near State College. Okay, so we have a live shot out of Bollesburg, which is very eerie right now. It's just north of the tornado warning. Top of your screen, you actually see how ominous it is. The wind's actually picking up. The trees are beginning to sway here. But this is just off to the north of the current tornado warning. So definitely interesting. Looks like a big 2 LCS wind bag. I think the main concern today will be wind. I really only went live because I just want to kind of at least give you guys an update for the next like hour or two. I don't think today is going to pan out to be super significant. I've been watching this for like the last 3 hours, just watching radar. Nothing's looked really too crazy to me, but like we could get an isolated tornado or two in the next hour or two. I think if we have tornadoes, they're going to happen between now and 6. Like after that, I think it's just wind. And even before that, I kind of thought it'd be wind anyways. But we do have a tornado watch for what it's worth until 6 o'clock tonight. This is the area that we're looking at, or sorry, not until 6, until 8 o'clock tonight. So this is across most of Pennsylvania and as well as back through parts of eastern Ohio. I think the greatest concern from here on out will be across parts of central and eastern Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, and maybe even back into Indiana. We are going to see another round of storms develop here in northern Ohio over the next couple of hours, and that'll be mostly wind related, but we are going to probably see some more initiation. That'd be right along the cold frontal boundary here in northern Ohio. Now back over where we're looking at storms right now in central Pennsylvania. This is not from the cold front. The cold front's again way back off to the north and west of this storm activity. This is just some prefrontal convection that we have currently, and again, a lot of this should be overall just wind, but we could definitely get an isolated tornado, so we're going to be watching that potential very closely here over the next little while. Hey Taz, appreciate the generous $10 super chat. Where do you get a Drunk NATO shirt? It's on shopmaxvelocity.net. The link's in the description. Actually, I almost wore mine today. I'm wearing a red shirt instead, but I almost wore mine today. Almost did. But I didn't want to have any drunk NATOs today, so we didn't wear it today. North shore of Lake Erie, probably just wind. Again, we're going to get another round of storms in probably about an hour or two, but again, it'll be mostly just damaging winds. It shouldn't be anything too far beyond that. What's going to happen in Detroit? Same thing. And there's going to be a new area of initiation probably right around about 5 or 6 o'clock, maybe just after that. And that's going to be developing again right along the cold frontal boundary. And the main concern will be damaging winds. So any storms that form between southeast Michigan and northern Ohio and northwestern Pennsylvania will be mostly a wind threat. I'm not sure if they're going to issue a new watch for that, but it would again just be mostly wind. And just a reminder, if you're just tuning in, the tornado warning in Pennsylvania is currently for Huntington County, Pennsylvania. No major town locations included in it. This is just to the north of the tornado warning. Again, very eerie out there. Obviously, wind is picking up here, so damaging winds is going to be a possibility over the next little while. There's a few other live cams out in front of this if this does choose to try to continue to produce a tornado risk. Right now, we don't have any debris signature, but this right here near Cottage is the area of circulation that we're looking at right now. It's actually going to be a new area of redevelopment because the initial area of rotation has occluded out. We have a new area of rotation attempting to develop near Cottage. It's maybe trying to recycle, maybe trying to, you know, churn a little bit here in this atmosphere, but overall not looking too concerning. We still have an inflow notch and we still have a hook, so this storm does still have pretty good organization for what it is. Just the rotation is struggling just a little bit right now. But again, it is moving east-northeast. It'll be going eventually towards Monroe Furnace, and it will eventually go towards the south side of Tussieville, Pennsylvania. So that'll be the next location in the track of this over the next little while. So again, if you are in this area, continue to stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and interior room of your home or building. They have canceled the initial tornado warning for Petersburg and Donation because that area of rotation has, at this point, you know, gone off to the north of that tornado warning. So this area of rotation that we're looking at, north of Petersburg, and it'll be eventually going towards Monroe Furnace. We also have a live shot out of Indianapolis right now. We got that line of storms rolling in right now. I'm going to try to pull it up once the video loads. Give me 1 second on that, since this rotation has broadened out over the last couple scans here. This is what it looks like right now in the southwest side of Indianapolis. We got a damaging wind event right now rolling in upwards of 70 miles per hour. Notice it's very ominous out there. Don't really see a whole lot right now. There was actually a better view probably about a minute ago of a bit more of a clear slot, but we don't really have that view anymore. Maybe a little bit of scud here on the top left of your screen. There's maybe a little bit of scud there. This storm did, again, have a little bit of rotation when it was initially north of Danville in Indiana. There's a little bit of scud there. Can't really see if it's rotating or anything. Let's go back to radar over there real quick, because this storm looks like it's broad again. Let's go back to Indianapolis. Let's go to velocities on the terminal radar site. The terminal radar site will probably give us a better idea here. Just gonna see if there's any rotation. Like initially, if you go back like an hour ago, there was rotation north of Danville. So this like northern side of the storm, there has been a little bit of rotation. That's died out now. I think this is all wind at this point though, because there's absolutely nothing interacting between the greens and reds right now near Indianapolis. So this looks predominantly like a wind threat. With that said, we do actually have a little scary looking cloud though. This is on the left side of your screen. Again, a little bit of scud there. A little interesting. By the way, thank you so many for the one gifted member. Appreciate that. Where do you find the live cams? A lot of these are just traffic cams. I mean, you can look them up on Google or whatever. What about Tennessee? I'll talk about Tennessee here in a minute. But it'll mostly just be isolated hail and wind. It's a large area today, but again, honestly, like the 5% tornado risk for today, I don't know. I kind of looked like after I got up this morning and it just did not look that crazy. Just being honest. Like, I don't think today's gonna be that crazy. I almost like just didn't go live at all, but like I kind of want to go live just to make sure you guys know what's happening in real time, because I think the threat is going to be lower. I still think if we have tornadoes, they're going to be between now and 6. I just think the risk is low. I don't think it's 0, but I think it's low. What about Ohio? I just talked about Ohio like a minute ago. And just mostly wind from here on out for Ohio. Maybe a low tornado risk with that second round of storms. We'll talk more in detail about other areas here in a few minutes, like kind of give you a future radar view and everything like that. But yeah, right here in Indianapolis, or just west of Indianapolis, looks mostly just like scud activity, which, well, I don't know what this is right here near Miller. Let me check the terminal radar site again. There's actually a little bit of rotation according to the terminal radar site. Or according to the localized radars, or the actual like regional radar site, I should say. I don't know if that, I don't know where, this is on I-465. Where is that? Where did I find this camera, is my question. There's like a little bit of rotation there near West Newton. It's on State Route 37. Curious to see if we actually do have some sort of lowering there, because there's actually, it's weak rotation, but there's a little bit on the leading edge of this Boeing segment of storms in Indianapolis. So maybe there's something trying to develop there. Again, it's not warned or anything for a tornado. There's no tornado possible label on any of this either, which we did have a couple of areas of rotation. This is just south of Indianapolis on Route 37 or Indiana 37. A lot of rain falling there. This is where that area of rotation I'm seeing is, but I'm not sure if that's rotation. Yeah, it doesn't really look like it. So I'd say there's like a little bit of something there, but we've had some scuddy activity, so usually when there's scud clouds, that can sometimes at least indicate that we could have some sort of rotation or tornado threat trying to develop. All right, back over into Pennsylvania. Still got a tornado warning on this storm that is currently to the northeast of Petersburg, south of College Station. I wouldn't be surprised if this does produce a tornado at some point down the road as it continues to move east-northeast towards Milroy and Decatur. But again, overall, I think the concern here is going to be predominantly wind, but there is still a pretty clean hook echo on this storm. I mean, we still have a hook, we still have a pretty nice inflow. There's a possibility that as this moves to the east towards Milroy, it does try to produce another tornado. So, or it tries to produce one tornado in general. Hasn't at least so far been confirmed to produce one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does at some point down the road. This is another live shot just north of this tornado warning. Again, a little bit of wind out here. This is a Sheets. I don't know, the last time I went to a Sheets, I think it was like 2 years ago. This Sheets with some wind in the area. Again, there's a lot of trees in Pennsylvania, so if you are in any of these warnings today, obviously stay away from windows, especially if you are near a home or you're in a home or a building that is near trees, because it can definitely be dangerous. Back to, I'm going to try to see what this Indiana camera looks like again, too. Hey, Deborah, for becoming a member, and welcome to the Velocities. Wawa is better than Sheets. I have to agree. I actually went to Wawa today, believe it or not. This is the Indiana live cam. So that scud that we're talking about before, pretty sure it's just the cloud base here. I'm not seeing anything that's rotating by any means. That's the leading edge of the damaging wind threat that'll be rolling through Indianapolis here in a second. Tag doing a photo for Indy? Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, some nice dark looking clouds. It's over from Exocopter, I think, in the southern Indianapolis area. So just very ominous skies. Not really shocking by any means when we have storms like this. Yeah, a little bit of scud here. Pretty good amount of lightning too. A couple big flashes there on the right side of your screen. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. Well, we can officially say that today is the 10th day in a row that we've been live. Which is pretty crazy. We've been live 10 days in a row. That is absurd. Well, I don't even know if we did that during our stretch of severe weather in April or May. And I mean, everything that we've essentially covered recently has been, you know, mostly slight risks. And even then, they've been pretty interesting. We do have rotation developing near Penview going towards Woodward. That is unwarned. So a little inflow notch on that storm. That could also get tornado warned. Going towards Laurelton and Mifflinburg. Mifflinburg will be in the track of that. Lewisburg will also be in the track of it down the road. I would expect a tornado warning on that if that rotation does intensify a bit further. Wow, these storms are really bowing out here in Indianapolis. Again, the threat for wind here is really the main concern. They've downgraded the wind concern to 60 miles per hour. With that said, this is live right now, just on the south side of Indianapolis where the wind is now coming through. We were just looking at this a second ago. It's the same exact camera that had the scuddy cloud view. Again, a lot of rain falling, very low visibility, and we are probably about to see almost no visibility. Wow, rain's really coming in now. When we got sidewards wind, like this is looking westbound. So when we got wind that is going into the camera and also rain that's going into the camera, it's going to be naturally much lower visibility when we're looking westbound on this highway. And wow, the wind's really picking up here. This is definitely around 60 miles per hour, maybe even a bit higher. But this is right on the south side of Indianapolis. And there's more lightning there. Or possibly a power flash. I wouldn't rule out a power flash with high winds. I don't know how the infrastructure is here for power lines and such, but we got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Indianapolis. Well, you're looking at it right now. This is a live shot here out of Indianapolis with very high winds. That's why there's a warning. There's no hail with this for the most part, unless it's tiny hail, maybe some cheese curd sized hail, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lost this camera. I mean, the wind is pretty strong though. Indiana, strap down your trampolines. Today's not even tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday. Today is Saturday. Looks like we're gonna have an active stretch of weather still, even throughout next week too. Tomorrow we have another risk on the East Coast, another low tornado risk, which I wouldn't be surprised if that got upgraded. And then as we go into the middle of the week, or even the beginning of the week, it looks pretty active too across the Central Plains and eventually into the Midwest. So, any Culvers today? I did not have Culvers today, believe it or not. Did not have any Culvers. I almost did. Again, I have almost gone there like 3 days in a row, but I keep getting Wawa. It's more because of proximity. I've got to say, this storm looks really nasty near McElvey's Fort. Storm has a pretty crazy hook on it. There's really not much rotation, but like it has a very strong inflow and a nice little hook. This is the kind of storm that would produce a tornado in today's environment in Pennsylvania. So something like this is not like, you know, shocking. I saw a bird fly by on that camera. Here's the latest scan on the other storm that's not warned. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tornado warning on this storm near Angleby, Pennsylvania, going towards Mifflinburg. If you're in that area, just stay vigilant. There is still a hook on that storm. We really got an organizing setup, though, of storms here. And again, I think the tornado threat will increase over the next hour. And it'll probably start decreasing again by 6 to 7. But I do think this tornado risk is going to get going once again. in this particular area. So just be ready if you're in like central and eastern Pennsylvania. Like this tornado watch, I don't think we're going to see any redevelopment like in northwest Pennsylvania that's going to be super tornadic in the next like 3 hours. But if we look at the future radar for today, I'll kind of show you what we're talking about for later, because we're going to have another round of storms that's going to fire up here in just a little bit. So this is what it looks like by about 5 o'clock or so. Again, a new area of storm activity will try to develop back over here in parts of Indiana, northwestern Ohio, and southeastern Michigan, probably around 6 to 7 o'clock, maybe an hour later than that. Like the HRRR showing it closer to 8 on the most recent run, so it might fire off around then. I don't think this is going to be tornadic. I think it's just going to be mostly wind out of that particular event, and eventually as we go throughout the late evening, that'll move across parts of Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio. But again, a lot of that storm activity is right along the cold frontal boundary. Don't think it's going to be that concerning. All the storms that we are currently seeing are prefrontal, meaning that there are storms basically firing off well ahead of the cold front, and so these storms here are the ones that we are watching the closest for in today's setup for the potential for tornadoes, high winds, that sort of stuff. Now this line of storms will continue to move east over the next several hours. The HRRR model does not do a great job at projecting this on the future radar, but basically know if you're in Scranton or back over in like New Jersey or southeast New York, you can expect this area of storms to be in your area, in your neighborhood, probably sometime between about 6 and 10 o'clock tonight, and it'll probably fizzle out as it goes into parts of New England. So that's what I expect for the rest of tonight in terms of the overall threat for just severe weather in general, whether that is tornadoes, whether that's wind. Again, I think today's threat will still predominantly be wind. I think the 5% tornado risk at this point is a little bit over what it probably should be, but that's just my thinking, at least for today. It looks more like a wind concern for today. The latest Storm Prediction Center outlook does maintain that 5% tornado risk in the parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and also very extreme northern parts of West Virginia. They have condensed it so it no longer includes extreme southwestern New York. So, I mean, it's a very small change, but just a little removal from that here on the latest outlook. Nothing too crazy in terms of the changes, but there's a small change there. Notable one, at least. All right, tornado warning still goes for 8 more minutes. I'm guessing this will probably get canceled or just let to expire, because the area of rotation is really broad and it's on the southern side of this warning near Highway 26. So if they do issue a new warning, which I don't think they will, but if they were to, it'd be going towards Milroy, Pennsylvania. And then we're still watching this other little notch up here for a potential for a tornado. Same thing over east of Lamar. So a couple different areas that I'd be watching for here. I messed up on the Scantron pronunciation. It is what it is. That one I've always struggled with. We've covered Pennsylvania actually several times. Not an easy one. We actually have several areas of like we have like several notches here near Beech Grove. Several tiny areas of rotation on the east side of Indianapolis right now. Let me see if we have any other live shots here. Well, there are plenty. I'm going to see if we have any views, though, of this storm right now. Because there's, like, a lot of small areas of rotation on this. I don't think any of them are imminent, but... Let's see. How do these face east, which is not very helpful. Yeah, the tornado warning that we have, again, is in Pennsylvania. It's in the title. But that warning will probably end up being canceled here shortly. Because again, if you look at this, like that's like a tiny area rotation. You can't really see it clearly on this, but if we go back to the base or the storm relative velocities, definitely a little bit of circulation there. This is a live shot on I-465. Large rain shaft here, so that's the rain shaft. I'm not seeing any sort of lowering on this particular view. Just looking southbound, that was a lot of lightning there. This storm does have a lot of lightning, so obviously go indoors if you are outside. I highly doubt anybody watching right now is outside, but if you are somebody that's outside, I do recommend going inside. They have issued a new severe thunderstorm watch for northern West Virginia and parts of Maryland and northern Virginia. So that's your new severe thunderstorm watch. It goes until 10 o'clock tonight. Main concern will be damaging winds. They have put the tornado risk on there as quote-unquote low, which I agree with. I'm outside, LOL. Well, that's not very helpful. I'm outside soaking in the rain. That's honestly a mood. I went to a store the other day, and all of a sudden it was just raining, absolutely downpouring. And I ended up having to literally run out my car and just dart into the store. Like, it was absolutely downpouring. I was drenched head to toes. It was not a fun experience. Do not recommend running outside when there's a thunderstorm, or even if it's raining, because it's just not a great experience. Unless you got like a poncho or an umbrella or something along those lines, it's just not a fun experience. Hey, Lotus, for the $5 super chat. What would you do if you went live and the next super outbreak happened? What? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, a super outbreak is when we have like a ton of tornadoes or just some sort of weather phenomenon that happens that is like extreme. Like, there's just a ton of something, like either hail, wind, or whatever it might be. Usually it's tornadoes though, and I mean, super outbreaks are very rare. I don't know the last time we had one. It's been a long time. Still waiting to see if we see anything here in Indianapolis on I-465. Wow, that was a lightning strike. I need to look at this on my live stream. Did that just strike in front of the camera? Wow, that did. I looked away for like a split second. And I saw it out of the corner of my eye. That like literally struck in the middle of our screen. I don't know. That like hit a car or something? Some aggressive cloud to ground lightning here. Wow, I'm gonna pull this up. If you just missed it, I'll pull it up real quick. That is crazy. Really happened in the middle of the screen. I'm trying to pause it so I can actually see where it is too, like what it struck. It's hard to pause it. It was so quick. This is what it looked like a second ago. That right there. I don't know what it struck. It must have just been behind the tree line, because I don't think it struck anybody. Like, I don't think it struck like a car or anything like that. That was kind of crazy though. The tornado warning, by the way, in Pennsylvania has been canceled. Just an FYI. That is done. That was right behind, like literally right behind the tree line there. It might have struck like maybe some sort of like lightning rod too. That does happen quite frequently. Still got a couple areas of, rotation just southeast of Indianapolis. Again, it's nothing crazy to me, but there are a couple of areas to watch for there. Still watching Pennsylvania in particular, even though it looks like predominantly a wind threat right now. I still wouldn't rule out something when it comes to an isolated tornado or two as this continues to move east. So we'll continue to watch this closely. Let's see if we have any other sort of live shots too. Which we do. I think Pennsylvania is going to have some sort of tornado risk. I think it's kind of just recycling right now. But like right now, we got a crazy inflow notch right now on this storm near McElvey's Fort. But there's just virtually no rotation on radar. It's just not that impressive. But I do think it's in the middle of a recycling stage. Same thing with the storm west of the Mifflinburg area. This one also had a pretty nice inflow. It's not as clean as the other one, but like this one wraps around way more. Like we have a nice little Boeing segment there, so it could very easily cycle here and we could end up getting a tornado. But they have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning on this with a tornado possible label, so it is definitely gonna be a possibility. But yeah, it might just take a little bit of time. It's definitely organizing though, no doubt about that. There's a tornado watch in State College. There sure is. Most of Pennsylvania is under a tornado watch. Will we see that many tornadoes? Probably not. Again, the risk today, they outlined it too on here. A couple of tornadoes are possible. Okay, that's the warning. I agree with this. I don't think we're going to see a tornado outbreak today. I just went live to let you know what the weather is. Like, we'll be live probably at least for the next half an hour to an hour if things do remain concerning. But like, today more than anything should be predominantly wind with like an isolated tornado or two. I just don't think today's gonna be that crazy with weather. I think we're gonna continue to watch, a lot of at least severe storms in possibly highly populated areas, but it should be mostly wind. I do want to mention, by the way, Tropical Storm Beryl is now expected to become a major hurricane. This is not shocking, by the way. I mentioned this yesterday. Like, this is kind of expected. We have a very favorable environment for major hurricanes, or hurricanes in general with this sort of environment. So a major hurricane does appear likely, or probably going to happen near the Lesser Antilles and eventually go into the Caribbean Sea. It is probably still going to go towards Mexico, but there is still a chance that this goes towards the Gulf or towards Florida. So just keep that in mind. I don't think it's going to go towards Florida or even really into the Gulf much. I think more than anything, if it does go into the Gulf, it would go through Mexico first into the Yucatan Peninsula and then eventually meander in the western Gulf of Mexico. That's what I think will happen. Again, not a guarantee, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But definitely going to see some major impacts there to the Lesser Antilles and probably some areas like the Greater Antilles as well. Unfortunately, it's, not what you want to see, but this hurricane season, probably going to be a historic one. This is not going to be a small little hurricane season, I don't think. I do think we're going to have several hurricanes, and, if that doesn't give you an indication that this season could be historic, I don't know what will, because we are already off to a blazing hot start. Let's go back to Tennessee real quick. We've had a couple of little pop-up showers in Tennessee. Curious if we can see anything here. I don't think Tennessee is going to see anything too crazy. This is a live shot here in White County in Sparta, Tennessee. We actually had a tornado warning here a couple months ago. We covered it on a live stream. Just a little downpour developing. Nothing crazy. Overall, Tennessee, there's a lot of live cams here, so we can see a lot of things. But I don't think Tennessee is going to be too bad today. I think the severe weather risk for Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, and areas like the central and southern plains, that activity will probably ramp up between, like, I don't know, 4 o'clock central or 5 o'clock eastern up until probably about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. Wow. So this is going to get tornado warned. There's no way it doesn't. Wow, that is strong rotation on Interstate 74. In Indiana. I personally been watching this storm for like 2 hours now on radar, and this is now the strongest we've seen it. And there's been a ton of different little areas of rotation with this particular activity, but this is probably about to drop a tornado, or it might already have had dropped a tornado. It's a live shot right in this area too. I don't know if that's a funnel in the middle. I can't tell. The wind is really going this way though. I'm pretty sure we have either a tornado about to drop or there is one on the ground with how strong that rotation was. I mean, this is probably on the ground. But radar's only updating every 4 minutes. There's no warning on it, I don't think, but the wind is extremely strong here. There's no tornado warning, though. I couldn't tell what that was, but look how strong the wind is. Like, this feels to me like a tornado right now that's on the ground, or there's at least very strong winds. But, I mean, look at this. I mean, there has to be a tornado. There's just no way. This is right where that rotation was, too. Either that or just very strong winds, but we're gonna go to radar again. Let me check it out again. That's not a CC drop, by the way, but this rotation is really tight. This is something that I would think would be tornado warned, but it's right on I-74. Near Pleasant View Road, which I think it's right here. So this what we're watching right now is probably the inflow going into the tornado warning cell right now. There's probably some spin off to our left. We just can't see it. And they have upgraded this to a tornado possible. So this is upgraded now, which honestly, we may have just seen a tornado. We just can't see it because it's not looking the right way. But this camera's still shaking a ton. We'll have another radar scan in a second, just waiting on that. This has been upgraded to 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds, but again, I think there is a tornado. If not, it's very close to being on the ground right now. But we just don't really have much of an idea. I'm making assumptions here based off of what we're visually seeing in Pleasant View Road. This wind has been very strong for the last several minutes. I mean, this has been, this, like, for the record, this has been rotating probably for several hours now. It's just been very in and out. The velocities on radar were upwards of 80 miles per hour in this particular spot a moment ago. And now the wind is starting to change directions. So the wind was going this way. Now it's going this way, I think. People should not be driving out there. Well, I mean, people can do whatever they want, really. I mean, they shouldn't, but they can do whatever they want. Too bad the cameras can't turn. I know, it's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, the wind has changed directions, which happens with storms quite often, but let me see. Is this the only camera that we have here? This is another one. This is looking east. Should have probably checked this one out. Wait for it to load. Here's the latest scan. See what the velocities show. It looks like we have a tightening on the north side of Pleasant View. This is on the other camera. I mean, look how windy it is. Looking eastbound. There's definitely a big RFD surge right now in this storm. That is just purely wind and rain being driven west to east right now. Let me look at the storm relative. I mean, honestly, like, this right here is just a little pixelation error, but, like, this is still really strong. It's strong enough to the point where we could have a tornado on the ground, or we may have just had one. No debris signature at this point, but definitely at least strong enough rotation to the point where there could be a tornado on the ground. And again, that's near New Palestine going towards Morristown, and it's just to the north of Sugar Creek. Wind's picking up on this camera again, too. This is the one looking eastbound towards that area of rotation. So this is all the RFD surge right now that's moving through, which is the rear flank downdraft. And so that comes out of the storm itself, and that's just surging from west to east right now. Again, very clear visual of that right now, just a big RFD surge. So again, near Fountain Town, kind of that area. Let me see what this other camera shows again. There is a small CC drop in that couplet, but I don't think it's enough to verify this as a tornado. I'll wait for that to load. I mean, velocity's just updated again in the latest scan. There's no CC update yet. But if we go back a scan, we can look at that little orange dot. This doesn't usually confirm a tornado if it's this small. Like 0.94 for a CC value is not usually going to be confirmed as a tornado. It's just so minimal. We have another little, maybe, area here, too, east of Warren Park. Had a damage report out of Beech Grove. Several large trees down again near Beech Grove right now in Indiana. CC radar just updated again. Still no debris signature. I still wouldn't be surprised if we just had a brief tornado, though, with what we are seeing. It might not have been on the ground for very long, but I do think there's at least a strong likelihood that there was just something on the ground. Thank you, Kathy, for the $20 super chat. Appreciate the generosity. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the kind words. And thank you, Smith, for the $1.99. Hurricane Beryl just formed. Did it actually already? That is insane if it's already a hurricane. Well, here's the live shot out of the area where that rotation is. There's actually cars now pulled over. That's how strong the wind has gotten. Luckily, they're not hiding under an overpass. Yeah, Hurricane Beryl. It's formed. Posting that on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. It's a hurricane, it sure is. Just got upgraded to a hurricane. Just posting it on socials right now. It's expected to become a major hurricane as it goes into the, as it approaches the Lesser Antilles. So it's going to be pretty significant, obviously. This is a very early major hurricane, by the way, for what it's worth. Having a major hurricane this early in the season is not common. Like, we're talking early July for when that's going to probably be a major hurricane. So that's not typical by any means. You know, even if we didn't have a tornado, the winds right now on radar still estimated near 70 to 75 miles per hour. So still very significant going towards Morristown. Bare minimum, we have a significant wind threat here. Either way, there's definitely going to be a potential for a tornado with that activity. Let's go back to these storms in Pennsylvania again. Still got a nice little inflow in the storm near Lewistown, just not really doing much. Again, these storms are trying, but if any storm produces a tornado in the next like hour in Pennsylvania, I think it would be this one near Lewistown. Just again, the inflow and the hook look crazy on radar. Rotation though is struggling mightily to get going. No warnings currently after the severe thunderstorm watch got issued in West Virginia and Maryland. Let's go back to Indianapolis again. We're really watching this storm closely because this one, in my opinion, has the best shot at producing a tornado relatively soon, speaking. By the way, thank you, Maeve, for becoming a member, and welcome to the Velocities. Got another live shot on I-70. This is going to be... The storm's going to be rolling through this area in a second, so we'll have a pretty clear view here. The meme for the 199. I don't know where Greenwood is, but most of any severe weather in Indiana tonight will be on the eastern half of the state. Mostly a wind concern. Velocities on radar don't seem to reflect the actual wind speed. I have to disagree. I mean, like, this wind threat that we're seeing right now is... we haven't had an official observation, but with what we just saw, I would say 60, 70, even up to 80 miles per hour definitely possible. Now, the velocities that we're looking at here right now on radar, they are going to be a little bit off the ground as we look into a radar beam going up into the atmosphere. It is going to be a few thousand feet off the ground, but regardless, I do think the wind is very close to what it's showing on radar. By the way, they did issue a new warning on this. They removed the tornado possible label, which is interesting on the new warning. Despite that, though, the main concern for this area, for Shelbyville and Greensburg, will be damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. So that's the latest here on the new warning. There's not really a hail risk with this. It's not really something I'll be watching for hail. The latest scan does broaden this large area of rotation out, so it's much broader on the latest scan, which is good news. It almost did I mean, again, I would not be shocked if we did have a brief tornado there, like low-key. That looked like it could have been on the ground there, at least for a moment. Bare minimum, though, we have a large area of rotation still. This will be going towards Southwest Ohio. Yeah, this is moving pretty quickly. It's actually on track to go towards Hamilton. Moving east at 45 miles per hour. Let me measure this. I feel like it's going faster than that, but I could be wrong. Let me check. Okay, so 443 compared to, what time is that? I'm going to do some math here. 443, 431. So 12 minutes. And how many miles is that? I didn't even count. I think it was 10 miles. I think this is almost going 60 miles per hour. Or maybe not. Wait. It's hard to measure this because unfortunately when I do this tool, the radar stops. Alright, so this is over an 11-minute period and it's going about 7 miles per hour. So if we do 60 divided by 11, it's 5.45. Multiply that by 7. About 40 miles per hour. Okay, well I guess that's pretty accurate. Looked faster to me. Have another little notch developing near Marion, so maybe another tornado risk there. It's another little area of rotation trying to develop on this thing. Hey, Milena, for becoming a 1-month member. I appreciate that. I'm looking to see if we have any other live cams down the road here. The next one will be up near Greensburg, so we're actually not too far away. We do have a little area of rotation near Marion. Again, that's what we're watching for right now. Looks like we do have some power outages also. Just to the east of Indianapolis, back over east of Beech Grove. So that's becoming a problem now. This is looking westbound on the I-70 stretch just to the north of where this rotation is. So this will give you an idea at least of probably the wind. Maybe. We'll see. It's a little bit north of where the core of the wind is, but we might see something here. Thank you, Saturn, for becoming a 1-month member. Okay, appreciate you becoming a 1-month member. I wouldn't be surprised if the winds were upwards of 80. I mean, it's probably pretty localized for the 80-mile-per-hour wind threat, but definitely exists. No doubt about that. Doesn't it tell you the storm speed? It does. I still question it sometimes. Because sometimes the storm speed on National Weather Service warnings is not always completely accurate. It can be in a lot of cases, but like sometimes I have done math before, and sometimes it's not accurate. So that's why I do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll actually do math on stream to make sure we're not missing something. Because, again, in some cases, there are storms that actually are going way faster than what it says on radar. Because this says 45. We just did the math. It said, you know, about 39, but... Problem is, I wish when I did this, the radar wouldn't pause, because it'd be more accurate if I did that. Maybe if I draw 2 points, it'll work. This is, again, over a span of 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 7.5 miles. So 7.5 times 6. It's going about 45. Yeah. Well, it's going right about where it is. The speed. But I like doing math on stream. Your math blew my mind. I mean, it's not even really that mind-blowing of math. You just calculate the the distance between two points, and you can kind of get the speed that way. Usually AI can do it too, but like, let's draw like a yellow dot from here to here. We're doing the leading edge of this storm activity. And this is a storm in Pennsylvania, for example, which is moving west to east over the last 9 minutes. So if we measure that distance right there, it's about 7.8 miles, give or take. All right. Then we have to do 60 divided by 9 to get the minutes per hour or whatever the math would be. And then we do 7.85. So apparently this is moving east at about 50 miles per hour. And they say it's 40. So I don't know. We're doing math on the fly here. I don't know how accurate I was there. I have to measure between 2 points, and they have to actually be precise. Otherwise, it just goes out the window. Yeah, real quickly. This is Hurricane Beryl, by the way. So this is officially a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean, and this is what it looks like. Thank you, David, for becoming a member, and welcome to the Velocities. How's college going? I mean, I'm on summer break, so that's why I've been live so much. Look at that explosion of thunderstorms here. This thing is organizing like crazy. I said it last night at like 4 in the morning. I'm like, hurricane season is gonna be crazy. This is a reason why. It is late June, and we have an explosive hurricane developing in the western Atlantic Ocean. And this could easily bring significant hurricane impacts to areas like the Lesser Antilles and, you know, the Caribbean Sea, eventually the Greater Antilles. Now, from there, will it continue to produce a hurricane, and will it continue to produce impacts? It probably will to areas like the Yucatan Peninsula. And where it goes is questionable. I don't think it's going to go towards Florida, or really even towards like the panhandle of Florida, but I do think it has a chance to go towards the western Gulf of Mexico, and it could eventually impact areas like Texas or Louisiana in a long-term sense of things. But again, that's really long-term. We don't know what exactly will happen. But right now, it's actually now forecasted to become a bit more of a medium-scale Category 3 hurricane, sustained winds at 120 miles per hour. So that has been upgraded by 5 miles per hour just to the south of San Juan, Puerto Rico. So very strong possibility that this right here will be our next major hurricane, the first one of the season, and we could very easily see more than just this one as we continue to go throughout hurricane season. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and we'll be keeping you posted with hurricane season. We do live streams, obviously, on YouTube and such, so we'll obviously do those if that becomes more concerning. We might even dedicate a live stream to talking about that if it does look like it's a bit more concerning. So definitely stay tuned. Hey, Chris for the 199. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. 300k is crazy. Still can't believe it. Okay, wait. I might have to do something here. Let me, real quickly, let's go back to this real quick. I'm gonna do a TikTok, but not like live. Just need to re-record this real quick. Hurricane Beryl has formed in the Atlantic Ocean. Alright, we're good. Dramatic. Alright, let's go back to live radar here. We still have a little bit of rotation east of Shelbyville, or north of Shelbyville, so we're still watching that right here. It's gonna be that just east of Interstate 74. Wait, you've never seen somebody do a live TikTok or anything like that? Alright. I felt like I was part of history. I mean, we've done a couple of TikToks from live streams, but that'll probably be one that gets edited after. I'm not editing it, but that'll be on our TikTok and YouTube page at Max Velocity WX. Probably in like an hour. Thank you, Panther, for the $4.99. When you aren't doing weather, what do you do for fun? To be honest, I mean, today I woke up, I went to Wawa, I watched the weather for 3 hours, I'm tired, and I've done nothing productive at all today. I've like legitimately, I just went live because I was like literally bored. Like I want to do things outside of this, but when there's weather actively happening like every single day like it has been, it's very difficult to find time to do things, unfortunately. So but we have had literally weather every single day, so I'm always kind of in the studio just kind of monitoring stuff for the most part. But I will be on vacation for 2 days, July 3rd and 4th. So hopefully there's no severe weather that's significant then. He likes to jump on trampolines. I personally, I think I've jumped on a trampoline maybe twice in my life. Thank you, Deal, for the $5 super chat. Weather here in San Diego is always perfect. It is. I've been to San Diego. It's actually, the weather's nice there. I think I have, at least. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. I feel like I have. It's always, California weather is usually nice year-round. NatoCast did drop a new outlook. 5% tornado risk across eastern Pennsylvania. So we do have storms that are moving into that environment right now. So we'll see if that does actually verify or not. But that would be an area to watch for over the next hour or two, really, for that tornado risk. Again, as I mentioned before, I think the greatest tornado threat today will be from about 4 until 6 or so. So that's already been an hour now, and we're going to be going into hour 2. So we'll see what happens, but that's what I'm thinking. Hey, Robert, for the $2 super chat. Little cell popping up in northern Indiana. Yeah, there are going to be some storms up here. I mean, will this actually turn into huge severe weather storms with like huge hail and stuff? No, but we could get some isolated wind and hail with this activity. We are going to have another round of storms developing over the next few hours in this corridor, but again, a lot of these storms will mostly be predominantly wind. I don't expect a whole lot of like tornadoes or anything like that. And even in general today, I mentioned this before, but I don't think today is going to be a huge like tornado day by any means. Even though we have a tornado watch, I just don't see this being a big tornado day. And I didn't really see it even going into this afternoon, like even before the storms fired. Just doesn't look really that crazy to me. Photographs did not look that great. The low-level shear, it's mid. Like there isn't a whole lot today that I think is that concerning, but we're live just to kind of keep you updated, and if anything does go crazy, we'll be here at least until 6 probably. The last time they were like an hour late with the storms? For what event? Do you stream in the winter? Yeah, usually we do. We usually do like winter storm updates and stuff. Typically. Any Culvers coming during your 4th of July vacation? I have no clue. No, but I'm taking those 2 days off. I think regardless of what the weather is, I'll be taking those 2 days off. I hate taking time off, as everybody probably knows at this point, but I would like to at least have those 2 days off. Because right now, the severe weather long term, like, we're going to have another risk tomorrow. So this is tomorrow's risk. Again, we got the East Coast again. and we got parts of the high plains, right? So main concern really will be the East Coast. High plains won't be anything. So if we go live tomorrow, it would be for the East Coast. I wouldn't be surprised with an enhanced risk along the East Coast either for wind, and maybe even an upgrade to a 5% tornado risk somewhere. Right now it's just a large 2%. Going into Monday, which is Mesoscale Madness Monday, we do currently have a slight risk for severe weather. This fly, I'm telling you, this fly, if you watch today's video, there was literally a fly that was going on my face cam, and it's still here. It's just one fly. I don't know why it's here. It's really annoying. But going into Monday, our risk for severe weather is in the central and northern plains, where all hazards of severe weather will be possible. This looks like a bit of a bigger day. Dude, this fly is driving me nuts. But that's what we're looking at on Monday. By Tuesday, I would expect a larger risk for severe weather, but the confidence does exist primarily right now in southern Iowa, central Iowa as well, and northern Missouri. This will be predominantly a Midwest threat across those areas for tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday. After Tuesday, what happens? I don't know. I think we're going to have more severe weather in the Ohio Valley and the central and southern plains on Wednesday of next week. And then after that, things just become super uncertain. I'm going to check and see what the European model though does show here. So this is long term. This storm moves out as we go into tonight into tomorrow. High pressure builds for the rest of the weekend. Early next week, more rounds of storms on Monday across the central plains. That could even increase the tornado risk a bit as well. I think the tornado risk might be a bit higher on that day, maybe a 5%, possibly even a bit higher. By Tuesday, more storms in Iowa and the Midwest. Again, I'll probably be live on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, right now, does not look insane by any means. I think we're gonna have some severe weather across a very elongated area, but overall I don't think there's gonna be any sort of crazy threat here. I think it's just gonna be mostly isolated severe weather. And then by Thursday of next week, we could get another round of severe weather, maybe in the Midwest. But to be honest with you, this just remains really fuzzy to me. I'm not seeing any clear indications of severe weather right now past Wednesday, really. And even Wednesday is still a bit fuzzy, so those days still have a lot of uncertainty to them. They call me Chum for becoming a 2-month VIP Velocity member. I appreciate that. Hope you have a good weekend as well. Is today Saturday? It is Saturday. I'm so lost with days. Like, it's insane. My concept of time is literally out the window. Hey, Goose for the $10 super chat. No problem at all. Still got a little bit of rotation on this little notch again near Marion. We're gonna have more live cams coming up here soon in Germantown, so we're just waiting for that. Or not Germantown, Greensburg, sorry. Greensburg, Indiana. So we're just kind of awaiting that. But we've had a little bit of rotation on the leading edge of this. Could get an isolated tornado in Indiana. Thank you, Gaming, for becoming a minimum velocity member. Welcome to the Velocities. Drink some beer. Went on my vacation? Drink some beer. I barely drink beer. I have probably a whole 12-pack of mics in my fridge, and I just, like, literally never touch it. I think Kentucky will be fine weather-wise. I think so. I think Kentucky will be alright. I honestly think anything that happens down there will be just sporadic storm activity. I don't think we're going to have anything organized. Nice purple background. It's not purple. This is purple. That's pink, actually. Wow, that's a bright pink. Okay, now we're green. Okay, I just need to click this button so we can reset this thing. I don't even have any live cam set up for today. Let me... Okay, I guess my color didn't want to change. Hello? Are we going to change the color in the background? My stream deck is supposed to be able to change the color. I don't know why it's not. I guess we're just on this color. Hey, Fops, for becoming a member, and welcome to our 1-month member. Appreciate that. And also thank you, Global Wolf, for becoming a VIP Velocity member. I do appreciate that. Smarts in the chat for Global. That is our highest tier membership on the channel. I'm going to put some other cameras up on the right side of the screen that are in more actual, like, you know, known areas. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Snyder, Mifflin, and Junita counties in Pennsylvania for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Yeah, it's a bit purple. I will have to agree. It looks a bit purple right now. I have to agree. I'm gonna interact with this one. Let's fix this camera here. All right, we got Maryland. For some reason, we have Maryland. I don't even think Maryland's in a risk for severe weather today, but you know, Maryland, absolutely. Cumberland, Maryland. I don't know what's Maryland again. What's the abbreviation? One of these is gonna pop out to me. McDonald's. I don't know what it is. I like the color. I do too. MD, thank you. I always forget that. I don't know why. All right, here's the latest scan. Still got a little bit of rotation on the leading edge of this. Again, I don't know if this is going to produce, but it very well might. So we're still watching it, just in case it does. And this threat right now in Pennsylvania does look predominantly like wind. So I'm not super concerned right now about this at this point for the tornado risk. But they have upgraded this to 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Going towards Newport, Middleburg, Saville, Tuscarora. Those areas will be in the track of this storm in Pennsylvania. How will Chicago be? Chicago's not even in the risk today for severe weather. Now, Chicago on Tuesday could be interesting. But right now, I don't think it's interesting at all. Now we got Fostoria, Ohio, on the right side of your screen. Hey, Panther for the 199. Love the neon sign. I do too. We've had it for a while. That's one of like the OG things that we got. I don't know when I got that, but that's like 2 years old, I think, that sign. Like low-key, we've had that for a long time. It's getting pretty dark right now in southwest Ohio. This is back over near Dayton. A line of storms with damaging winds does appear likely here soon, so be ready for that. See if there's anything else here in Tennessee. I like looking at Tennessee because we have all these live shots on Radar Omega, so it can be interesting. It'll be interesting to see some storms towering up. It's a nice little view in southern Tennessee. What about Detroit? Just isolated damaging winds at this point. It's in Chattanooga. Nice little, I mean, like this environment, something I can point out to you here is that, you know, this deck layer of clouds is actually pretty elevated, which means if, now for Tennessee, for example, there's no tornado risk really today at all. But like in this particular instance, these clouds are just so elevated. That's where the lifting condensation level is. So these clouds are just building thousands of feet off the ground. It's just not a favorable environment for tornadic storms, for example. They would be mostly elevated. It's kind of a little feature that you can see there. But Memphis looks pretty nice right now. I mean, by the looks of the radar, yeah, Memphis looks beautiful right now. Pretty sunny skies there. We've also had some storms down in like Georgia, and you can actually see on the right side of your screen those storms bubbling up. But back down like Georgia and Alabama, had a lot of storms bubbling up down here. Pretty ordinary stuff though for this time of the year. Nice summertime thunderstorms. Nothing too crazy. It's actually a new camera, I think, down here in southern Alabama. I don't know if it works. I haven't seen this one yet. Yeah, it does. It's actually a couple of cameras. Huh. Alright, back to the weather. Still got a little bit of something there near Rushville. Still watching it closely. There's a little bit of rotation. Moving towards Rushville right now. Greensburg will eventually be in the track of this line of storms here, and we do have a couple of live shots out of there, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Michigan's in, somebody said in chat, but Michigan is in the severe weather risk. Again, whenever there's a severe weather risk, our thumbnail will have red for that area that's in the risk, as long as it's actually something that we're watching. Michigan technically is in the risk today. Is it a high risk? No. But it is a risk. The entire state of Michigan, literally, other than like a small part of the upper Michigan Peninsula, is actually in a marginal threat. But really the main area that we're covering is this. We might, if we're still live, we might be still covering this or even the over here, but this is just a large whale risk today. We have the tail of the whale right here. I don't know what we would even call these two parts of the whale, but I don't know much about whales, but it looks like a whale to me. When will they form? I mean, the second round of storms that's going to try to develop later tonight would be closer to like 7 or 8. We've had storms ongoing back over in the upper Michigan Peninsula, so this will be something to watch for, but this will be just predominantly wind, if anything severe. But we're going to have a new round of storms develop around 7 or 8 in this area. We already have one firing off west of Fort Wayne, but this will start to ramp up more over the next hour or two. The main concern, again, just being wind and some hail. Wouldn't really expect much of a tornado risk. I think that risk is going to stay very low to 0. They have issued a new mesoscale discussion. Severe thunderstorm watch is possible. This is going to include areas in northeast Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, and southeast Kansas. Main concern is hail and wind. Tornado risk is very close to 0. Which type of donation is best for you? Venmo has the least amount of transaction fees. Or the donation link, if you are wanting to donate. They have issued a new severe thunderstorm watch for southwest Ohio. I actually might stay live through Cincinnati and Dayton, because I do think this will be a little bit interesting, to at least see what comes in here. Like, I don't know how long today's stream's going to be, but we'll probably at least be live through that area, because we got live shots, and we got a impressive line of storms here going west to east. Do you take travelers checks? I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't know what that even means. But we don't take checks at all for donations in general. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This has been upgraded again to 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds for Connersville, Indiana, and Batesville. So you can expect damaging winds if you're in those areas. We should have more live shots as this continues to move eastbound. So we're going to continue to have multiple live shots out of this cluster. Checks should just go away, honestly. Checks are very old school. At least for me. I've barely ever used them. Max is too young to know about a traveler's check? I guess so, because I've never heard of it. Like, I have no clue even what that is. So you take arcade tokens. Absolutely. Feel free to mail those to us. We'll take them off your hands, don't worry. Alright, we have a couple live shots coming up in Greensburg, Indiana. Just waiting for that line of storms to get here. And then again, next in line will be, Cincinnati and Dayton. Those areas are in the track of this. They have issued a pretty localized severe thunderstorm watch for this, so it'll be interesting to watch and see how this evolves. Hey, 2 finance for the $4.99. Anything bad for Washington, Pennsylvania? I'll look it up. I don't usually look up specific town names, but since there's nothing imminent in terms of a tornado, I will check it out. I would doubt it. I mean, southwest Pennsylvania, we could see some storm initiation in the next, hour, but it's highly conditional. We've already had this round of storms roll through well out in front of the cold front, and this has pretty much stabilized the atmosphere. So I would say probably not. Even have a little bit of rotation north of East Salem, too. Just a little bit. It's not much, but there's a little bit of rotation there. Love when I join the stream and Max says my hometown. That's usually how it goes. Good timing. Yeah, I joined somebody's stream the other day, and it was perfect timing because they were talking about how they were about to do the gritty. I was like, perfect timing. Fantastic. I was able to watch the gritty in real time. It was quite phenomenal, I do have to say. Cincinnati going to see the storm? I think so. I do think Cincinnati's going to see storms, and that's why I want to stay alive for this. I kind of like covering this area anyways. But I do think Cincinnati is going to see some of this. It'll be mostly a wind threat. We could still get an isolated tornado, but definitely a wind threat at the bare minimum. Your gritty radar was working, honestly. All right, let's go back to Greensburg. I'm just we're not, the storm's not close enough for Greensburg to actually see it. It's just very ominous. I'm curious to see if there's a shelf cloud with this storm too. I love shelf clouds. I love looking at them. Fun fact. Time frame. Let me time this out. Let's put the end of the tracker on this. Currently moving east-southeast at about 40 miles per hour. It's in between 38 and 44 miles per hour. Dayton will probably also get hit by this, but this is an ETA for areas predominantly near Cincinnati. So currently Cincinnati is about an hour or maybe 2 hours out. Where is Cincinnati? There are a lot of towns on here. I think Cincinnati's about an hour and a half out, though. I don't see it for some reason on here, but it's about an hour and a half out. I might have already passed it. But I would say about an hour and a half, realistically. If it's going 45 miles per hour and it's 61 miles away from you, that's probably about an hour and 20 minutes. According to a storm that's going 40 to 45 miles per hour to the east-southeast. My radar's not working. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what the I'm not a tech person, so I don't know what's going on there. Like I'm not a tech solution person for radars. So I don't know what the problem is there. Math, wow. You want me to do some calculus equations on live stream? We can do it. Do some little calculus problems. And go differential equations. Those things are nightmares, I have to say. That's an absolute nightmare of a topic. People are actually saying yes. Apparently you did a floss last night. I did do a floss last night. That is true. Where's the max pie emoji? I'm not making a pie emoji. I know that for a fact. I don't want reminders of math. Math is a very just no. That's all I have to say. I took math for like 13 years or whatever it was, and it was literally painful. Like college math is painful. You got calculus 1, 2, 3. You got differential equations. You got a code math that's weather related all into one. It's just a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. Now, if you love math, it's perfect for you. If you hate math, which I don't hate math, but I just don't really want to do math, honestly. Like, I just don't feel like doing it. Also, physics in college is painful. I need to make a Connor stuck emoji. Actually, I should ask him if I can make one. That would be funny. A Connor in mud emoji. That'd be hilarious. Me and Connor were trying to brainstorm things that we're going to be doing in Florida when he's here. Last night. Is the fear hype for Pennsylvania over now? I don't know what fear hype you're talking about. I have not hyped up anything. I went live because of one tornado warning, which I wasn't going to initially. Just I've been so bored like the last few hours. I've had like nothing to do. And I kind of want to talk about weather. Kind of want to see some cool stuff. We're going to have some live shots coming up here in Southwest Ohio. So we'll stay live through this part of the risk. But overall, the tornado threat, it's pretty low. Again, it's... I would honestly say this risk in Ohio is very low at this point. And that's why I wasn't live earlier. I just did not see anything here that looked concerning. And even now, I mean, there's like a little bit of rotation west of Oriental and west of Chapman. But like, I just don't see this risk really panning out to much more than wind and maybe an isolated brief tornado or two. Just in all fairness, like, I just don't see that panning out. And, like, again, we're going to have another round of initiation, probably around 7 or 8 back up here in, like, Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. But this is all going to probably be wind and hail, too. But I do think it'll be interesting to see how this little mesoscale convective system does evolve here in Indiana and Ohio. Because this will be mostly wind. Now, there is a chance this weakens more as it gets closer to Cincinnati, but I would say it's probably going to at least survive till Cincinnati with at least wind, at the bare minimum. What's New England look like tomorrow? I'll have a video tomorrow morning talking about it. I'll just wait for that. I'm not going to talk much about it. Maybe later in this live stream, but I wouldn't talk a whole lot about it. Thank you, Squirrel, for the $5 super chat. I actually, I have some traffic cams pulled up. Just waiting for something to happen if we see anything in those areas. So if we do see anything, I'll pull it up. We got one in Greensburg, which you can actually see the outflow boundary. Velocities actually show the outflow pretty clearly here. I drew a terrible line, but that right there is your outflow boundary. That's the leading edge of this thunderstorm activity, which is why this storm near Rushville this entire time has had at least a little bit of rotation. It's kind of just attached to this outflow boundary. It has a nice little inflow. It's kind of a little QLCS tornado risk that's tried to develop. Again, I don't know if it really will. We got a lot of rain now kind of developing out in front of this from the high level clouds, but we could still get an isolated tornado out of that as it moves east. Still something to watch for. But until that happens, just continue to chat until something gets going here. Not UMAX, others including the National Weather Service. I think out of all places, the National Weather Service is the one place that does not hype up events. I just gonna be honest with you. How's it going, Derek? Welcome back. Where is this? This is southeast Indiana right now. It's going towards southwest Ohio. It'll be approaching areas near Dayton here pretty soon. This is a live shot right now out of just south of Dayton right now. Yeah, nothing really too crazy here. Just some nice low to mid-level clouds. It's getting ominous. We're probably gonna see a shelf cloud in like 30 minutes, maybe to an hour, once this area of storms gets a bit closer. Just ominous for the time being. How's it going, Jess? Welcome back. It's my house. We actually have a lot of people that watch our streams from southwest Ohio. We have a lot of people in general in both Ohio. Like, I don't know where our following is. I can't really tell, but like, I think most people that watch these streams are in Wisconsin, Illinois, some in Iowa, Ohio, and then Texas is one of the other big ones. Like, those are probably the biggest states when it comes to our following, I would say. I don't really 100% know, but I think that's generally what it is. I mean, I just saw like at least 10 people out of 25 people say they're in Ohio, so I think there's a pretty good amount of people in Ohio. You know, there's quite a bit of rotation now north of Millerstown in Pennsylvania. We got a big RFD surge at the bare minimum. Been tightening a little bit there. We're looking a bit higher up into the clouds, but there's definitely some stronger rotation northeast of East Salem right now. Let's see if we have any live shot of this. What part of Pennsylvania? West of Chapman. Latest scan broadens out a little bit here. Got a couple of small little notches there. Either of those could produce a tornado. Where am I? This is State College. Okay, so east over here. Let's see if I can see anything. I can't really see anything right now in this area. There's a little bit of rotation, though. It's trying to intensify there near Chapman. At the bare minimum, it is an RFD surge that's probably producing some significant damaging winds, but other than that, we could still get an isolated tornado out of that area of activity. They have issued another severe thunderstorm watch as well, back over in parts of eastern Pennsylvania. Main concern will be damaging winds, and then maybe an isolated tornado or two will be a possibility. Still something to watch for there. Got a lot of us from Indiana. Yeah, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, probably Michigan too. I think a lot of the Ohio Valley and the Midwest is a pretty decent chunk of our following. Thank you, Jeff, for becoming a Maximum Velocity member. Appreciate that. How's it going, JD? Some people are still telling me what the abbreviation is to Maryland. I'm pretty sure they were very behind in the stream because that was like 25 minutes ago. Or that was actually 20 minutes ago. All right, let's see if we can see anything in Greensburg now. Oh yeah, look at that. It's actually in Greensburg right now. Let me, this is Greensburg. This is actually the leading edge of this storm. That's probably the shelf cloud. You just can't see it because we're looking east. That would be the storm. Let me see if there's another view looking west in Greensburg. The view looking southwest. Yeah, the wind's picking up a little bit. This is in Greensburg. Pretty sure the outflow boundary is arriving now, but the wind's starting to pick up here. Just a little bit. Let's see if we can get another view of this, though. Got one in Post, I think. Or New Point. New Point, Indiana. I'll pull that up in a second. Max, my super chat. Did I miss it? I don't read all super chats, just letting you guys know. I try to read as many as possible, but if I miss it during like a tornado warning, there's a strong possibility I might not get to it, unless it's like something absurd. Hey, Billy for the $2 super chat. Muskegon, Michigan got severely damaged last week. From what? What event? Hey, Riley for the $1.99. I don't know where Homer City is, but again, main concern right now is central and eastern Pennsylvania. So where that line of storms that I showed you a moment ago is, anywhere east of that is where the main concern is from here on out, with mostly wind as a threat, but maybe an isolated tornado. I'll thank you, Justin, for the $2 super chat. But yeah, if you're giving me like really specific locations too in these super chats, the chances of me looking it up is pretty low, because again, I don't go in depth in every single location unless there's something about to happen. If there's no tornado warnings or no like 95-mile-per-hour warnings or whatever it might be, I'm probably not going to go super in depth on a certain town. I can give you a general region breakdown, but like specific stuff like that is, if I did that for every single person, we'd be talking about that for like 6 hours straight. Hey, Daniel, appreciate it. Wow. This is the leading edge. This is a shelf cloud. So this is again back over to the southeast of Indianapolis. It's in southeastern Indiana. That's the leading edge. You really can't see the shelf cloud because we are on the inside of it, not the outside of it. So you can't actually see the leading edge, but this is where the shelf cloud is. From the other side, it probably looks pretty crazy. Here's your rain shaft. So we got rain falling right now. Back over near New Point, Indiana. This storm in particular is warned for damaging winds around 60 to 70 miles per hour. I don't think Pittsburgh's in the clear, but I think we're at least clear from the bulk of the threat. So there might still be an isolated severe storm, but I just don't think any significant weather will be really happening there. Floss emoji? I was gonna make one. Nobody sent me a floss photo though. If somebody sends me just a pure photo of me flossing on Discord, then I'll try to make it into an emoji. What level do you get another play button from YouTube? A million subscribers. Which who knows if that'll actually ever happen, but I did see Mr. Dibble do the dance a couple days ago. I did. I was there. I was literally chatting that entire time in his chat. I said it earlier in the stream, but I think today is now the 10th day in a row that we've been live on YouTube. 10 days in a row, which is absurd. It's a lot of days. This fly is still here, and it's driving me bananas. Like, I'm being serious. This fly has got to go. But, like, this fly was here for our video, you know, last night, well, like very late last night, like early this morning when I made the video. The fly was on like the face cam. It's still here. It's just one fly. I don't know why it's here. It's really annoying. Like every time it's like in here for some reason. What if you did song reviews, members only? If you're talking about Taylor Swift, I'm not reviewing songs from Taylor Swift. Hey, Karen, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll probably get Culver's tonight, which means tomorrow we'll probably be live because something's going to happen tomorrow after we eat Culver's. If we get one more $5 super chat, I'll eat Culver's tonight. Guaranteed. I'll send you a photo of me getting cheese curds. One more $5 super chat, we'll get Culver's. And then tomorrow we're going to be live because there's going to be something happening. I looked at tomorrow, and tomorrow actually could be a bit of a larger day. The instability on the East Coast is kind of crazy tomorrow. A lot of instability. Possibility for tornadoes. The only problem would be the first round of storms that happens could happen off, like kind of develop onshore but move quickly offshore, and then the second round of storms, which would be a bit more significant, could be a bit more interesting. But I think tomorrow will be mostly wind. All right, so once again, if you're just tuning in, we're looking at Southeast Indiana. We've been looking at the shelf cloud rolling through here in Greensburg. Again, moving east-southeast, Cincinnati, Dayton, Hamilton, Middletown, Southwest Ohio. Be ready for this storm. We could easily see some damaging winds as this area moves to the east-southeast. Again, tornado risk with this, still low, but it's not zero. And then back over in Pennsylvania, we've had a bit more rotation on this activity. We are starting to get closer to a radar hole, so we do have some rotation, but main concern still is damaging winds right now near Chapman, going towards Likens. So again, that's moving eastbound. We just got 4 $5 super chats after I said that. 4 $5 super chats, so I guess we're getting cheese curds tonight. That means tomorrow might be a long stream. Alright, we'll go back to this until, we might have another camera out in front of this, too. Alright, let me read this. Thank you to, thank you, Jake, for becoming a VIP Velocity member. I appreciate it. Put smarts in the chat for Jake. That is our highest tier membership on the channel. Thank you, Dog, also for becoming a 4-month VIP Velocity member. Thank you, Jessica, for the $4.99. Thank you, MP, for the $5 super chat. We'll get back to those in a second.
A new tornado warning.
That's the second time we've done that. New tornado warning in Pennsylvania. That's the storm that we were just looking at. I mean, this thing's been rotating forever. They've just now issued the warning, though, for this area near Oriental and going towards Chapman and Dalmatia. So if you're in this warning, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building. Again, this storm very well could produce a tornado at any time. It has been rotating for quite a while now, and this storm was really the initial storm that got going earlier in the live stream that was rotating, and this same sort of cluster here that's moving east-northeast has been still continuing to rotate. So, could see a tornado out of this. If you're near Chapman or Dalmatia, get to your safe place. Away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building, as this will continue to produce a tornado threat as it crosses over the river here. I'm going to see if we have any live shots. I don't know if we do, but I'm going to check and see. I don't think we do, though. I don't think we have anything, like, close by. That's the problem. Yeah, nothing really close by here. But definitely stay in your safe place if you're in this warning. Thank you, MP, for the $5 super chat. Thank you, Modern, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you, Kit Kat. I don't think we're going to see much there, just maybe isolated damaging winds if anything does go severe in central Ohio. Thank you, Amy, also, and also thank you, Gray for the $4.99. Is it rare if you sign it? I've never signed any merch before, but we might do some signed merch in the future. Alright, so once again, if you're just tuning in, this is the tornado warning south of Lewisburg, south of Sunbury. We are in a bit of a radar hole, so we don't have a fantastic view of this storm. There has been a couple of instances, again, where the rotation's been pretty tight, and you know, we probably at least have a lowering, maybe a wall cloud or funnel cloud or something like that. As this moves east-northeast towards Dalmatia and eventually towards Greenbrier, we are probably going to see the potential at least for some sort of damaging wind threat, but there also could be an isolated tornado. So just continue to stay in your safe place if you are in this warning, away from windows, lowest floor possible. After this activity will continue to move towards areas like Pottsville, Shamokin, Hamburg, Hazleton, and eventually Allentown is a long-term track of this storm activity. So those will be the areas in the track of this particular area of storms. I actually forgot, but we have live cams in Pennsylvania. I just don't know where they are. Let me check this out. We got one looking at a mountain. It's not very helpful. See, I don't know where Green Castle is, but I think all of the live shots that we have are in southeastern Pennsylvania. Let me change Fostoria. Actually, let me change we're gonna change Maryland out here. We're gonna make that as Green Castle, because Green Castle actually has a pretty good ominous view there. That's Green Castle, Pennsylvania. We should have a couple other shots too. Just gonna keep tabs on these in case we do see something on them. Got Paradise, Pennsylvania too. I think it's in the same area there. Yeah, I don't think Greenburg or Green Castle is in the imminent threat, but maybe later. Let me go back to storm relative velocities here. We also have a little bit of rotation trying to develop east of Millerstown. Something else to watch for. Again, that's the main area. We still got another one, though, that's trying to develop further south of that. Let's go back to base velocities. Let's go to tilt 2. Okay, tilt 2 doesn't really show anything. So tilt 1 is really going to be our friend here. If we do get a tornado again, it'll be right over Mehantango and eventually going towards Dalmatia and Hickory Corners. Those will be the main locations in the track of this. So a few different areas here of rotation. And again, this is moving east-northeast right now. This is the latest scan. So that right there near Dalmatia is the main area of rotation. Moving east-northeast. And this could still drop a tornado at any time, so continue to stay in your safe place if you're in this warning. This is, for reference, this is the full shot here on the virtual railfan. This is back over in Green Castle, Pennsylvania. So again, pretty ominous skies right now. Looks like we even have some scud clouds back out here in the distance. I have to look where Green Castle is, but definitely looks ominous. Wind's picking up just a little bit just before these storms get to the Green Castle area. Let me go to Green Castle and check this out. This is Green Castle. So it's a bit further down to the south near Chambersburg, but that's an area to watch. Wow. Near Doylesburg right now. Look at that rotation. You guys see that? That's actually pretty strong rotation right now. It's not even warned. It's not like tight and on the ground, but that's actually a bit more concerning. Near Doylesburg, pretty good amount of rotation right now. It's going towards Newburgh and Newville. Unwarned area of rotation right now, which I don't know. I would say that's something that could be tornado warned. West of Harrisburg. And even the southern radar shows that this one right here, this could be a concern. We got some pretty strong velocities going away from the radar. It's not warned. And it's discrete, which makes it a bit more concerning too. Well, that's definitely something to watch for. Let me see if we have any live shots of this on I-76, because that's where this is right now. Let me see. I'm just gonna see if we have any lowering on this at least. That rotation does not look like it's not like tight, but again, there's definitely enough rotation to the point where we could get a tornado on this storm. We got one live shot. It's not really looking at the storm though. There's a good amount of cams in this area on I-76. I'm seeing if any of them show anything. A lot of them are just looking at the ground. Like, this is one of those storms where it's kind of in the mountain. I mean, it's kind of like there's some hills and mountains here and stuff, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to actually see it in general. But, like, that rotation, again, it's not warned. It's actually pretty... At least the velocities going away from the radar are pretty strong. This storm's not much different either, but it's more linear and clustered together. And it's also further away from the radar site, I believe. Or actually, they might be similar distances. But we do have at least some contamination, probably from some of the hail that's falling in there. Yeah, this one's only 50 miles away. This one here, I would be watching this storm if you were near Interstate 76. Going towards Carlslee, Mechanicsburg, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So that rotation's definitely not a joke. That's a pretty large, broad area of rotation, at bare minimum. Harrisburg has some cameras. Harrisburg is just too far away, though. We're not going to see that from that far away. Still got a tornado warning for Chapman, Pennsylvania. Again, continue to stay in your safe place if you're in this warning. So we'll continue to move east-northeast over the next several minutes. Also, new mesoscale discussion for southwest Ohio. A small Boeing cluster should produce damaging winds for the next couple of hours. So that's back over in southwest Pennsylvania, extreme northern Kentucky, and southeastern Indiana. Chambersburg, PA camera. I don't know where is Chambersburg? I don't know where that is. But once again, this area of rotation, this does pop out to me. It's a large, broad area of circulation. Like, I don't think it's going to drop in the next 2 minutes, but it's definitely something to watch for. And I bet the National Weather Service is looking at this one, too. See if the next radar scan shows it's coming in now. Still trying to see if we have a live shot on this, because this storm in particular, I mean, if it does drop a tornado, it's probably going to be in the mountains here near Highway 274, but... Oh, let me clear a shot of it right now. Wow. Well, here's the latest scan. It's a bit broader on the latest scan on this unwarned storm. It's actually a live shot just to the west of Harrisburg in Carlslee. I'm pretty sure this is actually the storm that we're looking at. It's very blurry because these cameras are not really supposed to be high quality, but... Let's go back to radar here. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to be back over. Before we do that, it looks like we have more rotation trying to develop near Willow Hill. Kind of got a couple areas. We got a little hook developing on this, so I'll have to watch that too. But we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to include a lot of areas just west of Cincinnati. Main concern is damaging winds with this, up to 70 miles per hour. So, yeah, if you are northwest of Cincinnati, west of Middletown, that is the main concern right now. This will be going in those areas soon. Got multiple live shots also in this area, so we'll be watching this area in southwest Ohio very closely. Let's go back to this tornado warning cell, which right now I'm not seeing a whole lot of rotation, but there is still at least some there near Dalmatia and Chapman moving east-northeast. And we're still watching the storm south of Mount Union right now, which still have some rotation there as of right now, moving towards Lurgan and Dickinson. Carlisle or Carlslee. That looks like Carlslee to me. I don't know how that's Carlisle. Let me let's see. How far is this from that camera that I was just looking at? What, 25 miles away? It's kind of crazy. We had that live shot on this storm from that far away. And this is the storm that we are looking at on radar that is actually organizing quite a bit. Large rain shaft on the right side of your screen. Fix your lights, they should be red. They really should. I know why, because my control thing is not open. I do want that open, thank you. Give me 1 second. Screen's black for a second, I know. Okay. Let me fix this. There we go. Okay, that's been fixed. Thank you. I actually didn't even realize that. I wasn't paying attention to that. They have issued a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and a tornado possible label. Again, this right here near Willow Hill would be the area that I'm looking at for that chance of a tornado. The area of rotation that we were initially looking at, it's gotten very rain-wrapped, so this right here near Willow Hill is really more what I'm concerned about now on this particular storm. There are a couple of live shots down here, so we're going to see if we can have any view of anything. But there's a lot of, again, this terrain that we're in here in Pennsylvania, there are a lot of hills. So a lot of the cameras that are out there, they are looking into a hill, literally. Or into a mountain, or into trees, whatever it might be. We actually do have a live shot, though. This is this storm. Yeah, this is looking right at it, I believe. Doesn't tell you the direction, but if this is looking northbound, that right there would be the lowering, but I don't think that is looking north. I think that's looking the other way. I think that's looking south. Doesn't say. Is this road curving back to the... All right, so that's looking south. This would be looking north, I believe. Nope, still looking south. Both cameras look south. By looking at the clouds, you can tell. They're both looking south. Okay, that's not very helpful. This rotation is coming together, though. Right over Willow Hill, Interstate 76. Not a tornado-warned cell, but does have a tornado possible label on it. Station's definitely trying to come together. Moving east towards Newburgh, Lurgan will be in the track of this. Eventually going towards Newville. Dickinson will also be in the track of this. This tornado warning, by the way, will be expiring in 2 minutes. I'm guessing this one's going to be let to expire. I don't really... Again, we don't have a great radar view on that storm, but like it just does not look as impressive as before. It was a bit tighter before. It looks weaker. Still mostly a wind concern moving eastbound on that line of storms. This storm here, as I mentioned before, west of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, this one has more of a concerning feature here, as we do have a pretty clean hook echo, and it's also a discrete cell. So this one could very easily produce a tornado as it moves east. It's going to be basically traveling right along Interstate 76, eventually moving in the direction of areas like Harrisburg. So Harrisburg will be in the track of this particular storm. Hey, Sid, for the $5 super chat. Getting raced to face the storm in Cincinnati. Yeah, we'll be watching those closely. I'm curious to see how the storm looks. I have a view of a shelf cloud too, so I'm kind of waiting to see. I'm actually going to see if we have one. There's a couple more cameras in Indiana than everything else is in Ohio. Expect anything in Cleveland? There will be another round of storms tonight, but it should be mostly a wind concern with anything that develops. This is the latest scan. The rotation does look broader on the latest scan, but I think it might just be a little bit of a loading issue or something like that. So we'll give it another scan and see what happens as this moves east. But that other area of rotation, northwest of Newburgh, it's been there for a while. I would say this is more of just a surge of wind, but we still have some circulation just off to the north of Newburgh, Pennsylvania. And Carlisle is really the main location and track of this. Wow, we have 2 flash flood emergencies that have just been issued in New Mexico. This is in Redusu again. This area had that large wildfire not too long ago. They're under a flash flood emergency. Yet again. That would be why. We have training storms over Redusu in New Mexico. Lincoln and Oturo counties are the ones included in that in New Mexico. That is unfortunate. That area is that area actually had a flash flood emergency like 2 weeks ago. It doesn't take a whole lot of rain though for that to happen, so just letting you know. Storm in Kansas might be interesting to watch. Oh, there's actually a storm here in Kansas. There's a tornado possible label on this. Holy cow. It's kind of in a radar hole, though. That's the problem. It's a live shot in Burlington, but it looks north. But this is going to be pretty typical today. I don't think we're going to really see much of a tornado risk out of those storms, but they do have that TP label on there, so we'll have to watch that closely. Back over to the cluster of storms here in parts of Ohio and Indiana. Again, right now the concern is that damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour will be rolling into areas in southwest Ohio very soon. Areas like Cincinnati, Middleton, maybe even just south of Dayton will be in the track here of some damaging winds up to 70. We do have a live shot right now out of areas, I think just east of Batesville and I-74. So you can actually see that shelf cloud rolling in from the back side. We don't have any view looking west into it, so we haven't had a view yet of this shelf cloud looking right into it, but we do have another view of it just kind of rolling, got kind of that horizontal roll that's moving this kind of more to the east. So kind of like a nice little feature there as this moves east, but another crazy view of the storm. While that happens, I'm going to take a quick 60-second break. I'll be back in a moment. All right, we're back. Somebody asked if we have kids clothing on shopmaxvelocity.net. We do not, but I will definitely consider adding that. We wouldn't do a kid shirt for like drunk NATO. We might make it into like soda NATO or something, so it does not appear weird for kids. So I was just thinking of that, but that is possible. We we'll probably end up adding kids clothing. I just haven't thought of that. Imagine kids wearing drunk NATO into a school. That would just be... that would be an instant attention, honestly. Like, that's what that would be. Apple juice NATO? Do juice NATO. Juicy NATO or something. I don't know. That one's a bit questionable, though. I don't even know. I don't know what we would do for kids. So that's a weird one, though. I have to say that. Thank you, Upin, for the $10 super chat. I know it. You've been here forever. I appreciate your generosity. 2,000 subs is so long ago, it feels like. I appreciate that. Thank you, Civ, for another $5 super chat. You think it'll hit Cincinnati? I do. Yeah, I think this is going to hit Cincinnati. I mean, if this doesn't hit you, if this line doesn't hit you, you'll probably at least get this convection that's bubbling up. That's moving more east-northeast. So I think you're going to get one or the other. Or maybe both. You could even get both rounds of storms here. Very possible. Let's go back to Pennsylvania here. Still got mostly a wind threat on this storm. Still a little bit of rotation going towards Dickinson. Other storms right now near Chapman and Likens are mostly wind. So everything right now is mostly wind in Pennsylvania. But we are still watching for that tornado threat. Tornado watch has been canceled for most of the center part of the state. Interestingly enough, they've left the tornado watch for Pittsburgh and also back into parts of southwestern Pennsylvania and southeastern Ohio, and also northern West Virginia. I don't think we're going to see anything bubble up here, but they still do have that there, so I don't know. I don't think anything's going to bubble up there, honestly. Personally, I don't. I mean, we might get something that bubbles up. I just don't think we're going to actually have anything materializing. Let me look at the satellite real quick. This is satellite imagery across the Ohio Valley right now. This is your complex of thunderstorms that's developed in southeast Indiana. Lots of clouds across much of Ohio and Pennsylvania. Overall, the instability is up there today, but we've just had a lot of cloud cover, limiting how much it warms up today. Yeah, I don't really see anything developing there today. Unless the tornado watch got canceled for this area, but like it just hasn't updated. I don't know. I just don't think anything's going to happen because that watch goes for 2 more hours. So, I don't know. For me, I don't think anything's going to happen there, but... Fruit snacks? Who in the world just mentioned fruit snacks? I haven't had a fruit snack in so long. What about a root beer NATO? I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, if we do a kid's shirt, I would actually have to change it, though, because drunk NATO just would not be it. I was thinking soda NATO, but I don't know. Just an idea. How's Connorsville, Indiana? The storms are rolling out right now. I mean, anything that's there right now would just be wind, lightning, and rain. That's about it right now there. This is back to that live shot just south of Connorsville, actually. Interstate 74. The shelf cloud rolling through right now. Actually, you know what we could do? We could put this on, like, the other side of the screen here, right? And we just put this here. Actually, I want to do this in the future, but, like, I just haven't been able to have time to do it. You can't really see it, but this is the storm that we're looking at, for those that are wondering. The wind should pick up here soon. I mean, we got the leading edge, that's the outflow boundary, and then we are probably going to start seeing the wind pick up here on Interstate 74. That's Batesville? Well, it is Batesville, but it is south of Connorsville. Chocolate milk NATO? Oh, we could do milk NATO. Milk NATO is actually not a bad idea. Problem is, if I do one of those, people are going to want me to make it in an adult size too, so we're just going to have another line of clothing, basically. Cristiano Ronaldo? That'd be hilarious. Connor Croft for the $10 super chat. Max versus Connor Croft golfing match coming soon. That's gonna be insane. I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be so hot, you know that? It's gonna be like 95 plus degrees here in Florida. It's gonna be absurdly warm. I'm gonna have to buy some sort of fan. I have not golfed in about 2 months. The last time I golfed was early May. And that was when I was in South Carolina. And even then it was really humid. I should make Connor a mod so I can actually see him in the chat. Let me mod him. Actually, I can't even mod you because you're not chatting. Nice. So we just did golf with a puking emoji. Excuse me? Golf is like the best sport. There's no other way around it. It's better than football. Alright, I got you as a mod, so I can actually see your messages. Even then, I probably won't be able to see them. You need a verified symbol. You need to hit 100k subs, so I can actually see it. Verified is way easier to see than anything else. Like, literally, it just stands out over the entire chat. Football over golf, Max? That's just false. I mean, maybe watching it, but even then, like, you know, whenever you watch golf, you just fall asleep. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Velocity's an update, by the way, on this storm. There is still a little bit of rotation near Lurgan, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be more of a wind threat here. This is the latest scan. Looks mostly like a wind threat, even though it has a little hook on it. You know, I've been live 10 days in a row, Connor. It's been crazy. This is the 10th day in a row. I wasn't gonna go live today, but I was literally like doing nothing. Nothing productive. Like, I would just like go on, like, I would literally just go to Disney today, but like, the fact of the matter is, the weather's been so crazy recently, I have no option but to stay here if something happens today. Same thing with tomorrow, and same thing for probably next, like, 5 days. But I'm going to Disney on the 3rd and 4th to watch the 4th of July fireworks, which will be pretty lit. Somebody just said PGA golfers have the personalities of a broomstick. What's that even mean? Maybe Connor will get the golf cart stuck. Wow, that's some shade right there. You're going home for the 4th? Yeah, I mean, I'm going on vacation on the 4th and the 3rd. And maybe the 5th if there's no severe weather. 4th of July fireworks are insane at Disney World. Like, they are so worth it. Max better drive. Wow, there's a lot of shade being thrown at you, Connor. What do you have to say? Permanent bans for everybody? Somebody had the idea that we should make a Connor Croft emoji with you stuck in the mud with your car. That'd be something else. I'm getting flamed here. I wasn't even stuck. I saw you. I saw you get out. I mean, the first time you did not get out until the next day, but the next 2 times you got out. But I don't know what to tell you, man. You know, my viewers, they're a menace. But Joe last night with the IRL super chat was absolutely incredible. Apparently they watch me too. Alright, let's see. Let's see if there's any live shots here. Wow, it's actually pretty cloudy right now. It's Southwest Ohio. Pretty cloudy. Waiting to see if we can see a shelf cloud. That is what I'm excited for right now. See if there's any Ohio cameras. Root beer NATO? And I think root beer, I think milk NATO would be the best one for kids. Like, low-key. I just sent you a picture on Twitter? Okay. Connor can't even legally drink? Wow. I was about to say we could have a mixed drink competition. Not really, but I can't even make a drink. That would be horrendous. I've never made an alcoholic beverage in my life. I mean, I've drank a few, but like, very minimally. I don't see the photo on Twitter that you're talking about. If you have any photos, you can at me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. Mixed drink NATO. Just call it an alcoholic beverage NATO. Or drunk NATO. Drunk NATO is just a general term for all that. By the way, if you don't know what a drunk NATO is, this graphic goes hard. You ready for this? I don't think Connor's seen this before. Drunk NATO. We made it recently. It's pretty fancy. Spider NATO? That would be scary. It's spiders in a tornado? That'd be something else. Somebody said sober NATO. I'm here for it. I could do a water NATO. That'd be just called a water spout. But we could do a water NATO. A water NATO t-shirt. For all those people that don't drink. You know, Matthew Capucci, he has a huge fear of spiders. It's crazy. I've seen his Twitter posts. He's like extremely afraid of spiders. The severe thunderstorm warning has been condensed. Still have a tornado possible label on it, but mostly just damaging winds up to 60. Everything right now across the board is wind. Not a whole lot of rotation. I am really waiting to see if we can get a view of the shelf cloud, though. I want to see it. Thank you, Dylan, for the $4.99. What website do you use for traffic cams? So you can just look up the state and then traffic cams, and then you'll probably find it. It's pretty, actually, easy to do. Just gotta go on Google and look it up. There's not, like, a specific website. It just varies by state. I'm trying to see if we have a shot of the shelf cloud. One of these radar Omega cyclone ports might be able to see it too, but this little bit of convection that's developing out in front of it, that might actually hinder being able to see it. Thank you, Felicia, for the $5 super chat. What about Lego NATO for kids? The problem is I would have to have Lego, like I'd have to get like a license from them or something, and I bet that's like $1 million. Like Loki. That company is probably really rich. So, probably not happening unless I do like an off-brand one. Queso 1x1 NATO. Let's do that. A queso NATO? That'd be crazy. Do I cover hurricanes? For the 944th time this year, yes, I cover hurricanes. I know it might shock you if you're somebody that watches all the time. It's very new information. We should actually do a cheese curd NATO. That'd be a big W if we did that. I do have a graphic designer now, so that is possible. We haven't released anything with their designs yet, but I haven't had really time to do that. Nah, a queso NATO would be like an F8, like an EF8. I'm gonna do a 10 girls versus Max E-Date stream to get him his first girlfriend. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had no success in that field, and I honestly could care less. I would rather not have one. It just consume. I already know what's gonna happen. It's gonna consume way too much of my time. Like, this is like peak year. I don't know if any storm chasers are actually married. Like, doing this is kind of almost the same thing, but like it's not. Well, Brandon Kopic is, I know that. And I think Vince Walty. There's a few, but like it's not very common. I mean, I'm not a storm chaser, but like, you know, we're live for almost everything, so. Connor's asking if I cover hurricanes. If I got $1 for every time somebody said that, I would literally probably have $1,000. I at least. It might be more than that. It low-key might be like, might be $2,000 or $3,000 if I had $1 for every time somebody said that. I had somebody message me, and they were like, if I gave you $100, would you want to date with me? I'm like, no. I don't have time for it. I would rather do this. I don't know why that's such a common question. I don't know why people are always asking if I cover hurricanes. I mean, my name does say Severe Weather Center, but like, we've covered hurricanes before. This one could be interesting, but I don't think it's going to go towards Florida. If this does actually go towards the United States, it'll probably go towards Texas or Louisiana. She was going to pay you? Yeah, she was literally going to pay me to go on a date. I don't even know who it was. Like, it was just some random person that messaged me. I'm like, no. I didn't even say anything. I just saw the message and left it on red. That might be worse. I need a Tinder NATO. Oh my goodness. Please, no. Let me make a poll in the chat real quick. Alright, answer the poll in the chat. I'm actually curious to see how many people are married or dating, and how many people aren't. I'm actually very curious about these results. Did I eat yet? Yeah, I mean, I ate like 4 hours ago. I had some Wawa for lunch. I'm doing Culver's apparently tonight, so we'll be getting some cheese curds. That means tomorrow might be a bad day. But just an FYI, we might have to be live tomorrow for whatever does happen. James, there ain't no shot you have a girlfriend and you're younger than me. There's no shot. I'm actually surprised. 45% of you. Only 45. I thought it was higher. Somebody's been married for 29 years in the chat. Wow. That is crazy. I went on a cruise and there was we were watching, like, I don't know what that show is called. Tucker, you would know. What's that show called? Newlyweds, I think it is. Like, there was like one that was married for like 6 months. There was one that was like, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, whatever it was. There was one that was married for like 50 years. They were like, you know, like 50 years is a long time. Somebody just said 35 years, 34 years. Holy cow. 41 years. Connor just said some girl asked to marry her, or me to marry her last night in the chat. Didn't even know what was happening, but the whole chat was behind it. What? Is it Taylor Swift or something? Like, holy cow. $42 years. Dawn just said in chat 60 years. If that's true, that is a very long time, and that is crazy. 60 years married. All right, somebody said 68, and his name is Lucas Flyer. I just don't think so. There's no way that's true. Somebody just said their grandparents are 75 years. That's a long time. That's crazy. Thank you, Native, for the $5 super chat. Please show Sullivan County, Pennsylvania. I'm gonna work. People tell me these counties. I don't even know where they are. I'm not familiar with this area. On Sullivan County Airport. That's in New York. So that's not helpful. Where is this? There it is. Okay, here's a live view here in Sullivan County, Pennsylvania. We have some rain. So we have confirmed rain, and that's it. We have a PDS rain warning, maybe? $10,000 BC years. That's a long time. We had a 65 mile per hour wind gust confirmed near Likens, Pennsylvania, going towards Pottsville and eventually towards Hamburg. Allentown will be on the track of that. We do have a few live cams. I'm going to see if any of them have any view of this activity. That's a rain emergency. It might just be. All right, well, we have 48% of people that are dating somebody, and the other 52% of people, including me, are down bad. There you go. Will I be live tomorrow? I don't know. I really don't know at this point. I mean, like, I've said I might be live probably about, I don't know, 6 of the last 7 days. Like, might, as in 50-50. And we've been live every single day, so. Probably. I mean, we're going to be eating cheese curds tonight. We're having Culvers. Every single time we've had Culvers, either the day of or the next day, there's been something crazy that happens. The last time was when we had the 4 large tornadoes in Wisconsin. So tomorrow could be interesting, and we might have to go live. This is live on the virtual rail fan out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. Still pretty nice view. Pretty ominous still. A little windy. This area will probably have some storms here in the next hour or so. Thank you, Eric, for the $4.99. Appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Might as well wear the shirt. I mean, I have the drunk. I almost wore this today. I have the Drunk NATO t-shirt. By the way, you can pick this up at shopmaxvelocity.net, #ad, in the link in the description. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Hamburg. West of Allentown, 60 mile per hour damaging winds are the main concern here. The link's also just been spammed in the chat 16 times. No tornado for Hamburg, please. I don't think this is going to produce a tornado. It doesn't look really organized compared to before. Or that tomorrow? I kind of like, I have never, for what it's worth, I have yet to wear this shirt in public. Like, I've had it for like over a month. I have yet to wear it in public. I haven't even worn it at all, actually. I mean, I've put it on, I think, for like one stream, but like, I've yet to put it on. I don't know what people's reactions are going to be. Like, I feel like I'm going to be like people are going to look at me like I'm crazy. Thank you, Lovely, for the 1 month member. I covered your city on your wedding day. That's crazy. Oh, I gotcha. I'm glad I could help. Do I have a P.O. box? We have a mailing address. I'll put the link in the chat. It's also in the description down below. It's like the second link down on the Get Connected tab, but I will put the link in the chat too. If you want to send anything. You don't have to, but it's there. I'm finally getting a logo made for merch. I heard about that. I think, is James doing it? I thought I heard him. I thought he said that to me. I made the Drunk NATO design, by the way. This Drunk NATO. We also got the Max Velocity logo on the sleeve on this one. It's pretty lit. We got a Drunk NATO wine tumbler, and I would 100% like actually buy it, but like, I don't drink wine, so. Thank you, Loretta, for the $5 super chat. Still waiting for my fridge magnets. Oh, you talking about, did you buy magnets on shopmaxvelocity.net? You should get them delivered within like a week or two. Everything ships out pretty much instantly. You have a new severe thunderstorm watch. That is going to be for Missouri, southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. Main concern is damaging winds and large hail. There is a low tornado risk here. It's not outlined by the Storm Prediction Center, but I wouldn't rule out a brief tornado. I'm excited to get a Connor Croft cowboy hat. That's what I'm excited for. Alright, let me go back to, let's go back to Kansas real quick. They have dropped the tornado possible label on this, but wow, that's actually a crazy looking storm. Look at this thing. Pretty far away from the radar site, but it actually has a nice little hook to it. Do we have a tornado risk in Dayton? I don't think so. I think it'll be very low if there is even one. I would say it's going to be more of just a wind threat, really. How old am I? I'm 58. I'm 8'7", 58 years old. I'm an absolute stallion. Absolute stallion. Used to be an NBA center. Crazy stuff, I know. Can I get a wine tumbler? I mean, I guess. The shipping on our wine tumblers is so expensive. It's like $10. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. They've issued a new they've issued a new Storm Prediction Center outlook. This is a very interesting shape. Back over in Western Indiana and Eastern Illinois, isolated, shorter duration, severe threat may develop across those areas. So that's that threat. A new watch is not expected. Thank you, Maddie, for becoming a member, and welcome to Velocities. Or thank you for upgrading. I don't usually laugh at that stuff, but that thing just popped out on my feed. Are the Drunk NATO's shirts in stock to ship right away? They usually ship within like a day or two. Let me just double check to see what our shipping dates look like right now. I can probably check. They are currently shipping out as of, so they'll probably ship out within 2 to 3 days with our current time of it actually being shipped out. Mostly any merch on the store gets shipped out within 3 days. I bought a shirt and loved it. I love the merch. I mean, it's comfortable. That's the best thing. Like, I wouldn't sell merch if it was crap. And the merch that we sell is actually pretty good quality. Pretty good quality. Where's the storm at? Southeast Indiana, crossing into southwest Ohio. I think we actually have a view now, maybe, of the shelf cloud. Can't really tell. Can't tell what direction this actually looks. That might be it, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Got a lot of homes here. They all look the same. Where do you keep your merch at? Shopmaxvelocity.net. You ship to Canada? We do. We ship international. Thank you, Jamie, for picking up a Max Velocity t-shirt. Appreciate it. Should wear your hat next stream? Where is my hat? I only have the 100k hat within reach. Fantastic. I only have the 100k hat, though. I hate wearing hats on live streams. I feel so weird. I can block out a lot of the light, though, that comes up from the other areas. I feel like a dad wearing this. Yet, I've yet to date anybody in my life, so I couldn't even be a dad. How many members for a gritty? If we get 15 more members, we'll do a gritty. I've never been a baseball cap guy. That's actually a trucker hat. That's not even a baseball hat. That's a trucker hat. We just added Max Velocity trucker hats, by the way, to our shop, maxvelocity.net. They weren't there before, but we just added those. Just an FYI. I just added that today. I forgot to add those back in our transition. Oh, you want a Timu NATO t-shirt? A Timu NATO t-shirt? It'd be literally inspiration from Connor Croft's intercept of a Timu NATO tornado. That was like 3 days ago, I think now. By the way, all these storms in Pennsylvania, for those that are wondering, mostly wind right now. I'm not really seeing much of a tornado risk. We might get an isolated tornado out of this storm near Dickinson. There's a little bit more rotation there, so we'll have to watch that. Right along Interstate 81. I'm going to see if we have a live shot there. If I see another person say, "Do you cover hurricanes?" I might lose my mind. I've seen it way too many times. Thank you, Mod, with the 5 gifted members. I appreciate that. Got to get to member, make sure to thank Mod with the dirt in the chat. We got a live shot on this storm. This is what it looks like. I'm telling you, if I had $1 for every time somebody said, "Do you cover hurricanes?" I would be possibly a millionaire at this point. Like, there needs to be a counter, like some way to count, like add a counter to the stream, just to see how many people have actually said it. Are you married? Absolutely. I'm 8'7". Gotta be married at that height. Not really seeing anything on this storm right now. This is looking west towards the storm. Unfortunately, these are very blurry cameras in Pennsylvania. Did no one watch your video earlier? It was literally talking about a hurricane. I don't know. Today's video is actually brought to you by Factor. Crazy stuff. Dude, that mesoscale discussion is going... It's definitely trending now on Twitter. Ryan Scholl's now posting about it. I'm not even going to show it, but it's just No, we're not showing what he put on there. Thank you, Chris, for the $2 super chat. I'm not answering your question. I'm done answering that question. What is my shoe size? As big as Shaquille O'Neal's. What is this size? Like 23? Or something like that? It's up there. I know that. I actually have a little bit of rotation developing near Camden, Ohio. So match that up with reflectivity. A little bit of rain wrapped rotation. Pretty broad. A little bit of rotation there, though. Thank you, Antone, for the $2 super chat. Again, not answering that question. I think the National Weather Service was bored when they put that out. I mean, the Storm Prediction Center issues is the mesoscale discussions. It's not the National Weather Service. So maybe, though. Who knows? Favorite anime? I've actually never watched anime. At all. They have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning here in Ohio. That's for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Going towards Middletown. Still waiting to see if we have any sort of live shot of that shelf cloud. Important question. Is water wet? Yes. I feel like I'm in a Q&A session right now. Do you cover tropical storms? That's a different question. I'll answer that. Sometimes. Depends on what it is. And where it is. Go back to this velocity site. Terminal radar doesn't really show much, but there is still a little bit of broad circulation north of Oxford in southwestern Ohio. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning in Kansas. This is for 70-mile-per-hour winds, golf ball sized hail, and there is a tornado possible label on this. Got a lot of storm mergers with this supercell. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this actually does try to produce a tornado in this environment, but it's going to take a bit because we have more storm mergers happening. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of 6 different radar sites, so the view on this storm is not great on radar, but I definitely could do something. We do have a storm now really firing off here west of Fort Wayne. Mostly just gusty winds right now. That has been getting going here over the last several minutes. That mesoscale discussion has to be photoshopped. I mean, I'll put it on here. I don't know what it even is. Mesoscale, there it is. I mean, there it is. And that is your mesoscale discussion.
A new tornado warning has been
All
issued.
New tornado warning south of Carlisle. This storm has been rotating a bit more here over the last several minutes. So if you are in this pink polygon, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and in an interior room of your home or building, as this could very well drop a tornado at any time. So again, this is for Dickinson, near Mount Holly Springs, Boiling Springs, and just south of Carlisle in Pennsylvania. Here's your area of rotation right now. So again, just south of Walnut Bottom, just to the south of Dickinson. Right now, this is kind of moving east-southeast, and it's actually going more in the direction of Lattimore. As long as it stays on track, that's the direction it's going. So if you're in this warning, again, get to your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible, and interior room of your home or building. Moving east and east-southeast at about 25 miles per hour. This is, again, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, on this warning. Ben, I'm trying to find the timestamp, by the way. I don't know when it was. When was it? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna see if we have any live shots on this. I think we did. Let me check. We have a live shot. Where is this one? Where's Mechanicsburg? That's over here. Okay, so Mechanicsburg. There's a live shot in Mechanicsburg. It's on I-81, just south of there, Mount Holly Springs. I don't think we have a direct view on this storm. We do have a view, but it's a bit further out to the east. Let's go back to velocities. It's a bit broader on the latest scan. This is a view of this tornado warning in the Gettysburg-Pike interchange area. This is looking west, at least towards this storm. It's hard to really tell what's happening here, because I think the storm might be behind to like the far left somewhere. Go back to here again. And rotation right now is south of Dickinson. It's really going more east-southeast. I honestly think if you're in like the south side of Carlsley, you're probably okay. But I would stay in your safe place just in case there's some sort of wind or hail threat here that does transpire. The storm's back up going towards Allentown. I don't think this is an imminent tornado risk, but we'll have to watch this area north of Pottsville. That area will be something to watch for maybe a quick spin-up tornado as that moves east. So that'll be something to watch for. Let me check Ohio again. Wow, we actually got a big surge of wind near Camden in Ohio. We got a little bit of rotation too on this near Camden. Broad area of circulation yet again. So we could see an isolated tornado in southwest Ohio in the next half hour. Not imminent, but a little rain-wrapped area there of at least some broad circulation moving east-southeast. I don't have a view of a shelf cloud yet. I'm hoping we get a view of a shelf cloud. I want to see one. They look really cool. Latest scan on this tornado warning, still some circulation south of Dickinson. It's not really strong, but there is still a potential that we do get a tornado here. So again, if you are in this particular warning, continue to stay in your safe place just in case this does try to drop a tornado here in the short term. And right now moving east-southeast. Hey, by the way, North Star Danes for picking up a Drunknado t-shirt and a Max Velocity t-shirt. I do appreciate it. Back to that live cam here until we get another radar scan. Where is that live cam? Right here. All right, we'll pull this back up for the time being. Again, this is looking at the storm here in Pennsylvania that's tornado warned. I don't know if we're going to see anything on this because I think the storm might be behind that hill on the left. Because this is a bit further off to the east and northeast of where the storm is. And the storm's moving southeast, so this is the closest cam in proximity of this storm. See if we see anything here. Yeah, Chad, I'll have a video tomorrow on the different possibilities, and we'll kind of talk more about the hurricane. Hurricane Beryl. It's a very interesting name, Hurricane Beryl. Let's see if there's anything else here near Carlisle. Definitely raining in Carlisle, that's for sure. It's on the northern side of the tornado warning. A lot of rain falling. Don't really see anything besides the rain, or there's not even really any wind up in Carlisle right now. I think Carlisle, like, is kind of on the southern side of the tornado warning. But you can kind of see in between here, like, there's no live cameras that are even really looking at this storm, aside from that one. We got a couple down near Gettysburg, but this one's the best one. But this storm, again, is kind of drifting to the southeast. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. We'll see what happens, but the rotation's kind of becoming a bit more stationary. It's just very slowly drifting east, going towards Lattimore and York Springs. But there is a possibility that they end up you know, not leaving this tornado warning for super long, because right now the rotation is just, it's not as strong as it was at the beginning. It's kind of broad again, but it might be trying to recycle, so just something to watch for. Let's go back to Ohio again. The warning here in Ohio was upgraded to 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. That's for really Jacksonburg, Middletown, Ohio, where there is a surge of damaging winds right now moving west to east. It'll eventually go towards Springboro. So this is kind of a live shot here out of Middletown. We're just kind of waiting to see if this storm, if we can actually see the shelf cloud. Got a little bit of some convection just out in front of this that has developed, so it's a bit hard to see. But one thing that's going to be interesting about this live cam is that the wind is going to be going probably right into there. So the surge of the wind is probably going to go right through the radar Omega cyclone port there. And so we should at least see the wind and how strong it is. And we might even see some of that rotation, because there is at least some broad circulation on the northern side of this mesoscale convective system. So something to watch for. And we also have storms now firing up here in West Virginia. And this one might go tornadic pretty quickly. It has a little hook on it. Going towards Grantsville. Something to watch for as that moves east. Latest scan still showing some broad circulation near Highway 233. Not really too strong, but there is some circulation. Let's go back to the live shot of this storm. That's not live. This is live. It's kind of looking in the direction of the storm. That's the storm right there. So that's the supercell that's trying to produce a tornado. It's over there on the left side of your screen. It's a much clearer view of it now. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning in El Paso County, Texas. Even Texas is getting in on the severe weather today. Hey, Jerry, for becoming a 1-month member. Got my drunk NATO today. Looks great. Also feels great. Yeah, it's great quality. Again, I'm not kidding when I say our merch is actually good quality. Appreciate you becoming a 1-month member. Looks like we're about to get hit in Reading, Pennsylvania. I mean, again, main concern really with any of these storms, even this tornado warning cell, will be wind. But we could still get an isolated tornado out of something like this. But it does not look very organized on radar. There's like some rotation south of Dickinson. It's just broad again. Got a lot of gray space in between that rotation. But here's the thing. This rotation is going towards Lattimore and York Springs. Like areas up here, you're mostly just looking at wind, lightning, and maybe some hail. Like down here is where I think this rotation's actually going. So my guess is they'll keep this tornado warning going for now, but they might have to issue a new one in Lattimore and York Springs. But I think this might be a CWA region. I'm not 100% sure on that. I would have to look at the map. Let me check real quick, because I think that's a CWA region right here. No, it's actually not. Yeah, this isn't a CWA region, so this warning just doesn't include those areas. But it probably will once it gets updated. If it's still rotating to the point where it needs to be tornado warned. That's the live shot again, top left of your screen. That's the storm. It's moving down to the south. CWA regions are what divides like the National Weather Service offices for issuing different warnings. Let me show you. I'll show you a map of what a CWA region looks like. So let me take this off. Let's go to here. So whenever I talk about CWA regions, this is what the states look like, right? So these are the different states of the country. Wow, shocking, I know. But if you look at CWA regions, they look crazy, like they're everywhere. So these regions are what the National Weather Service office in that said location will cover. So for example, back over here in central Pennsylvania, you have one National Weather Service office, which is the State College, Pennsylvania office that covers this entire area. But if there's a tornado warning for Williamsport that's supposed to go like all the way over to like here, for example, there's going to have to be the other weather service office that issues it for that area. That's what that means. So this would only be issued for this area by one office, and then the other office would have to continue it into the other area if it's needed. So that's what that means. But we're not actually in a CWA region here. It's just I guess a warning that just didn't include Lattimore. I mean, originally this looked like it was moving more east and kind of just tracking along that line, but it's kind of drifting now to the southeast. The more you know, absolutely. Well, we are going to have that surge of wind here in Warren County here soon. This is the storm, I'm pretty sure, right there. We got a huge surge of wind going through Jacksonburg right now. 75-mile-per-hour winds being estimated going towards Middletown, Ohio. We're gonna have a live camera going right into this. It looks like on Radar Omega. We'll have to watch this area closely too. I don't know if we're gonna have a shelf cloud on this. I'm kind of waiting to see if we see that. I think that in the background is. It's a little bit hard to tell. We still have some precipitation in the area, which is kind of making it difficult to see. The visibility is a little bit lower. But this will be interesting to watch. Give it about 4 minutes probably, and we'll probably have a pretty clear view of that storm. That storm's really firing up right now in West Virginia. Interestingly enough, those could go tornadic too down the road. Still got broad circulation going towards Lattimore, Pennsylvania. So again, moving east-southeast. Hey, Jerry, for the $5 super chat. No problem at all. I appreciate your generosity. You're good. Don't worry about it. Hey, Smith for the $1.99. I know, that southeast Kansas storm does look like a beast. And this could go big. It could be a big one. But it is a crazy-looking storm. I mean, look at radar. It's a massive supercell. A lot of storm mergers are happening here. But in all honesty, like, this could produce a tornado. Could be photogenic, too, if it does. I don't know if it will, because this environment really just sucks for tornadoes. It's not a good environment, but, like, we could see something. It's just, it would have to be off of an outflow boundary. We have storms now firing up in Oklahoma, too, along outflow boundaries. Getting kind of crazy, even in the southern and central plains now. All right, let's check out that Middletown camera again. This camera is going to be getting probably pretty crazy here over the next few minutes, because your storm is back in here. I still don't really clearly see the shelf cloud. Again, that might be it, but it's just not very visible. We have a lot of convection developing out in front of that shelf. So the tornado warning in Pennsylvania was just updated. It is still radar indicated back over southwest of Harrisburg. We actually have another area of rotation just south of Carlisle. So that's something to watch for. It's pretty rain wrapped. The one near Lattimore is not looking very pretty, though. That thing's been kind of dying. Carlisle, though, that one is still rotating, and that's still in the warning, so it is still something to watch for. Actually, the live camera here is moving around. They are moving this live camera on the Pennsylvania storm. This is back where this tornado warning is, so they're moving it around to see if they can see anything, because this is where that tornado warning is. Hey, Radar Wiley for the one gifted. Appreciate it. I don't know if they're going to move the camera again. We missed them looking south. It's looking west at the storm that's rotating. Stay here until another radar scan. Tornado spotted near Mechanicsburg? I haven't seen anything confirmed. I'm going to keep a close eye on that camera because they are moving it. Again, this right here is the area of rotation that we're watching for near Boiling Springs. That's really the main location, because this other rotation going towards Lattimore, that's just dying. It's not where we would be expecting a tornado at this point. Let's go back to Ohio again. This wind is approximately 7, or actually probably 5 miles now away from Middletown, Ohio. Damaging winds up to 70 will be possible. Actually got a little scud action on the very far left side of your screen. You can't see it. Let me go this way. Right there. Got a little bit of scud over there. Just a little scuddy action there at the leading edge of this activity. They have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning here in Ohio. That's going to be for Lebanon and Harveysburg, Mason, and Middletown and Springboro for damaging winds up to 70. Again, this live, we actually have 2 radar omega cyclone ports here. The highest of this wind is going to go literally in between the 2. So this will be interesting to watch. We'll have 2 different live shots as this moves through. But this wind is probably going to get pretty crazy here in a minute. In Southwest Ohio. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue a tornado warning, like, near Mechanicsburg. Do we have another radar site to verify this? Not really. We're in a radar hole, again, which is kind of unfortunate. It's not like a huge radar hole, but it's a notable one. Let's see if we have any other live shots of this storm. I think that's our only one right now. Any news on Kansas? Not really. I mean, southeast Kansas going to see some hail and wind, maybe an isolated tornado, but the risk of tornadoes there is pretty low. All right, let's go back to Ohio until we have another radar scan in Pennsylvania. And the highest wind right now going through southwestern Ohio is this right here near Middletown and Trenton. And that's moving west to east right now. The bright blue colors that you're seeing there, that is damaging wind potential up to 70 miles per hour. They have issued a severe thunderstorm watch in both Texas and Oklahoma. It was until 11 o'clock tonight. Main concern will be damaging winds up to 60 to maybe 70 miles per hour and up to golf ball sized hail. So mostly just outflow boundary storms that are developing. So really the main concern should be predominantly across areas really that are near that outflow boundary. So basically where the watch is, that's where most of the storms will be today in those 2 states. So if you're back down in, like, I don't know, DFW or Childress or whatever, you're probably not going to see much. All right, this is the live shot in Southwest Ohio, so we'll see what it looks like. We're about maybe 2 minutes away from this wind really surging here, so we're going to keep a close eye on this. Still watching the Pennsylvania camera too, but I'm not seeing anything right now. Hamilton, Ohio, you can't see in front of your face. The wind is crazy. Yeah, I'm interested to see what the wind looks like. That's really what I'm interested to see, because this wind is, I mean, it's becoming a bit smaller now, but that area of blue, that is where the most significant wind threat is. It's actually kind of outside of the rain too, which is interesting. But this is gonna be going right into Interstate 75. I'm very curious to see what it does look like out here. There are some cameras. I just don't think any of them are live, which is the problem too. But, like, this is the only live one that we have. What is this? What is that right there? I can't even tell. It's just the leading edge of the storm, maybe. See you later, Carrie. I'm just gonna go back to Pennsylvania real quickly before that camera gets to the wind. Looks like the only area of rotation which is kind of broadening out is near Boiling Springs. The circulation near Lattimore does not look very impressive. I wouldn't be surprised if they just end up canceling the tornado warning, but just continue to stay in your safe place until it is officially canceled, because it is at least going to continue to produce some level of wind. They have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Lattimore, East Berlin, west of Elizabethtown. Main concern is quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And after that, I'm guessing this warning is going to be canceled. So it should be canceled in a moment for those in that part of Pennsylvania. All right, let's go back to this. Thank you, Marley, for the $4.99. Been literally watching the live stream all day while working. Well, I hope your work has been productive. Appreciate you tuning in. And I'm glad I can help. All right, let's see. Should get interesting here in a second. If not, the other camera might be interesting too. This is from Slayer of Coins on Twitter. This is out of Chester, Ohio. Look at that. Nice little view of that storm moving through here in southwest Ohio. See if the wind really picks up here. We might just be, I mean, this camera, the wind hasn't gotten there yet, but it might just be a little bit on the north side of where the highest surge of wind is right now. We're gonna have to wait and see. If it is, then the camera in Lebanon will be better. But like this little Boeing segment that we have here, that's the surge of wind right here. That's all kind of just surging out here. And it'll be going through Lebanon, Middletown, Springboro, and southwest Ohio. All right, wind's picking up a little bit here. We'll see how interesting it gets. Got a little bit of scud activity up to the top of the right of your screen, too. Thank you, Justin, for the $100 super chat. You are crazy. Any concern for Hershey, Pennsylvania? I don't even know where that is. I've been to Hershey, actually, before, but I don't know where it is. Main concern will be probably just wind. Even then, I think you'll actually probably be missed by anything. If you get anything, it'll be damaging winds. Aside from that, I think everything's going to miss you. Kind of got a little hole there in Harrisburg, which is interesting. Thank you for your very generous $100 super chat, and put some hearts in the chat for Justin. That is very generous. There was a land spout in Chanute, Kansas about an hour ago. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. Today, those storms, that one storm there that has been undergoing a ton of storm mergers looks crazy. And this is the live radar Omega cyclone port here in Middletown, Ohio. We're going to see if the wind really picks up or not. Just south of this by probably about half a mile is where the peak of the wind will be. It's a pretty narrow corridor for the 70-mile-per-hour threat. Max can buy another Maunder. The Maunders that we've been getting, they were like, I think 250. So we're probably going to get 2 more. I still haven't gotten them, but we're going to probably get 2 more. Thank you, Justin, for another $100 super chat. You're crazy. I appreciate your generosity. Put some more hearts in the chat for Justin with another $100 super chat. Absolutely crazy. All right, here comes the wind a little bit. Let's see what the other live cam looks like near Lebanon. It's in Lebanon. We actually might have a better view on the left side of your screen of this storm arriving, too. Once it gets a bit closer. Let me check out velocities real quick. Yeah, so the surge of wind is probably going to go right through Monroe. So I think the worst of it actually might just stay to the south here of Middletown or Franklin. By the way, tornado warning was canceled on that storm in Pennsylvania. Not surprising. Somebody just said I'd pay Justin $100 to go on a date with me. Oh my goodness. This whole thing is getting out of control. Oh, it's gusty. The trees aren't really moving a whole lot. I still think the worst of the wind is probably south of this camera, so we might have to go back down to the other camera. See what it looks like there. Thank you, Caitlin, for the $20 super chat. Anything for Newport, Pennsylvania? I don't know what part of the state Newport's in, but basically if you're on the eastern side of the state, that's where the greatest concern is. I'll check it out really quickly. Newport, PA. Storms have already passed you, so I wouldn't expect much else. Maybe an isolated storm, but you're probably done. Wind's picking up a little bit more now. Thank you, Paul, for the $5 super chat. Hershey, Pennsylvania is near Harrisburg. Yeah, I gotcha. I found it. I had to look it up, but I appreciate the $5 super chat. I can look it up. Whenever I say that, it's usually because I have to look it up. Nothing in Lebanon yet. We're going to stay here on Middletown. Still gusty winds right now. Nothing crazy, but there are some gusty winds. By the way, Paul, I do like your PFP of Bucky's. Thank you, Beth, for becoming a moderate velocity member that you try for the 199. Remember me in Connor's chat? Can you show us the crock pot? I put the crock pot in my other room. I actually do. Yeah, I remember. I usually remember a pretty good amount of people. It's been getting harder because we have so many more viewers than we used to, but I usually can remember most people. Can I be mod? No. No. Just like asking, can I get a promotion when I've never worked at your company? That's basically what that asks. Or that's basically what that's saying. It's like what's implied. Lightning strike there. You know, it's funny, this camera just went into night vision mode because it's actually gotten pretty dark out here. It's actually just went into night vision mode. Oh, nope, now it's back into daytime. Did anyone send you a crock pot recipe book? No, actually. We haven't. That's the first thing that we've actually gotten for a crock pot was the crock pot itself. So Dakota just said the crock pot will change your life. I don't know about that. Wolf, no, it's not a secret sponsorship. I just drink it. No, I have never gotten a sponsorship from Circle. I want one, but we haven't gotten one. Absolutely, JD. Yeah, so you can get a promotion. Here's the other live cam down to the south. Yeah, actually, this is the storm right here. This is the leading edge. It'll be interesting to watch this as the storm rolls in. Thank you, Justin, for the 20 gifted members. I appreciate it. If you got a gifted membership, make sure to thank Justin in the chat. Your generosity is off the charts today. I appreciate your generosity. It's way too kind. A bird flying right there in the middle. The bird knows something's up. Alright, so it looks like the worst of the wind missed this live cam. So the other live cam is in Lebanon, and that right there is going to be going right there. Unless it changes last second like it just did. So we'll see what it looks like, because this isn't really showing us much. This will be interesting. So this will be interesting in a second, so I'll be back in 60 seconds. Stay tuned. All right. We lost Max? Absolutely. Yes, when I say I'll be back in 60 seconds, that means we're lost entirely. Did Connor get out of the mud last night? Yeah, we watched him get out of the mud last night on stream. I honestly thought it would take a long time for him to get out of the mud, and it didn't. Well, there's a lightning strike right there in the middle. So this is the leading edge of this thunderstorm activity in southwest Ohio. Let me go back to radar just to show you. This is the storm activity. The highest wind is going to go right through Lebanon, north side of Mason, Ohio. So power outage is very possible as that moves east. Still got storms in Pennsylvania, but most of these right now are just wind and then maybe an isolated tornado, but the tornado risk right now does appear pretty low. So we're still watching it, but nothing looks imminent. And same thing with the West Virginia storms. This might be really the worst of the activity that we see here for the next little while. So we'll see. More birds flying. Those birds are flying into the storm. What are they doing? There's a lot of birds flying across the screen. Somebody just said, Max, you should go on dates and let people donate to whatever charity you wish. Problem is, I don't know any of these people. Like, that's the other thing. Even if somebody asks, I'm like, I don't know who you are. You're just a random person that decided to message me. I did mail something to Connor to his P.O. box. The surprise will await. I don't think he knows. I didn't tell him. It doesn't really matter, but I did actually mail him something. Joplin should be fine. Just isolated hail and wind. Hey, Lucky for the $10 super chat. I think the main concern will just be wind for Delaware. But I don't even think Delaware is going to get much severe weather tonight. Maybe tomorrow will be a better chance. Franklin County, Ohio, probably not going to see much. I think you'll be all right. Very low risk of severe weather at this point. This live camera is currently in Lebanon, which, again, we are going to probably get the worst of the wind right here in Lebanon, so that's why we're here. It's on the Radar Omega app. Kansas is rotating. It has been rotating for a while. Check my phone on that. It was undergoing some storm mergers. Will I cover New Jersey tomorrow? I don't know. I don't really know about tomorrow yet. We're just taking it day by day. It's just a mess of storms over here. Like, everything down here is just a mess. It's mostly just wind. But, I mean, like, I don't really see anything clear when it comes to rotation. The problem is we're in a radar hole, and it's very hard to see the actual features with these storms, since we're just so far away. So there could be a tornado in there somewhere. We just don't know. It's very hard to tell, but I don't think there is. Just by looking at velocities, it did not appear as if there's a tornado. I think it's more of just wind and hail. Thank you, Joseph, for becoming a member, and welcome to the velocities. Another lightning strike there. You see more for the $10 super chat. Hurricanes. We'll talk more about Hurricane Beryl in tomorrow's video. I talked about it a little bit earlier. We should actually have a TikTok or a YouTube short going up here soon too. So, yeah, that should be going up here pretty soon. I'm just waiting for my editor to get back to me. Max, you are smart. I'm not smarter than a 5th grader, I can tell you that. If you're a member of the channel, you know you know. That's a very interesting time whenever we do those. Alright, we'll see if the wind really picks up here or not. Again, this warning is for 70-mile-per-hour winds, so we'll see if that really surges here. Lebanon Cam's on the college? Oh, that's where this is? This is a college? The worst of the wind right now is going right through Lebanon. West side. It's starting to weaken again. Every time we have one of these live cameras, the wind just suddenly dies down. So we'll see if it surges or not. Hey, Ben. Alright, we got a TikTok for it. I don't have a YouTube short for it. Thank you, George, for the $5 super chat. The blue area you are referring to for the high winds on our map is white. Yeah, it depends on your color table. I mean, the color table will show you what it actually is. The color, like, you can change the color table. It's customizable on both Radar Omega and on, you know, other weather apps. And this camera, I think, just lost power. Unless I think it might have just lost power. I don't know. But, yeah, the color table, again, it could literally go any way. You could make this red if you really want to. Like, it just depends on the color table. Right now, I don't know why we can't see this camera right now. Let me try to refresh Radar Omega here. Let's try this again. I don't know if the power just went out or... Yeah, it just went down. Wow. That's unfortunate. Maybe it'll come back in a second. This is the backside of the storm on the, in Middletown, near Franklin. Ben, you can try if you want. You can try to, like, condense it a little bit down, maybe? You might be able to cut out some of the beginning, maybe, and then try to fit in just, like, my thoughts on it. I don't know. I don't know how you would even do that. I didn't realize how long it was. Okay. My bitrate has died. What is going on? My internet just decided to fail? Okay. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Am I still here? Can you guys hear me? I think it should be better here in a second. Okay, it should be better. Yeah, just refresh if it had any issues. It should be back. Alright, the live shot came back here in Southwest Ohio. They canceled basically the entire tornado watch. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. We'll go back to the map in a second. I gotta do this real quick, though. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Cool. You look at Cincinnati. I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. It's mostly just wind. I mean, we're looking at the live camera where the highest winds are supposed to go through. I don't really see anything too crazy. I mean, the trees are swaying, but it's actually not too shabby right now. Not too shabby. I'd say before, it looked way worse on radar, but the velocities have died down quite a bit. If you guys are still lagging, just refresh. It should be back to normal. I think it's because I was uploading a TikTok at the same time, and this internet can't seem to handle more than one thing. Thank you, Ben. That works. Works for me. Still apparently dropping frames. Very exciting. Alright, let's go back to Pennsylvania again. Fortunately, we didn't really get any sort of live shot of any of that. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning in West Virginia going towards Clarksburg. Main concern here will be damaging winds and a little bit of isolated large hail. up to 60 miles per hour as that moves east-northeast. Still got a few severe storms also back over in parts of southeastern Pennsylvania. At this point, I think the tornado risk is very much lowering. They still have a tornado watch back over in southwest Pennsylvania and southeast Ohio. I honestly do not understand why. I don't think... I felt like this should have been canceled by now, but I don't know. It's still going, so stay weather aware if you're in those areas. Back over north of Philadelphia, again, the main concern right now for Allentown will be damaging winds, as this does continue to surge to the east over the next several minutes. So, again, that's for Allentown, Emos, Palmerton, Easton, all those areas are in the track of this particular storm. So that could still do something, but to be honest, it just looks mostly like wind. I think the worst of today's threat, though, is beginning to wind down. That said, we still have some rotation near East Berlin. Still a little hook on this thing. Little hook echo on that storm, so it could still do something. How's it going, Dragon? By the way, thank you to Lisa and as well as Roger for picking up shopmaxvelocity.net merch, including t-shirts. Appreciate that. If you want to pick up a shopmaxvelocity.net t-shirt, like a Max Velocity shirt or a Drunk NATO t-shirt, the link is in the description. There's also going to be a link posted in the chat. Do appreciate anybody picking up our t-shirts. They're very high quality, or anything in general. Everything's really high quality. Links in the chat. Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Yes, you are in the track of this storm. Just in case you're wondering, same thing with Lancaster. By the way, James, I got it. Somebody was already doing it. I didn't know you did that stuff. I forgot. Kansas looks interesting. Kansas does look interesting. I think a lot of the southern plains actually look pretty interesting. But I don't think any of this is really going to be that tornadic. I think a lot of this will be wind and hail. We have so many storm mergers happening here that anything that tries to produce a tornado is just going to merge with something else. So I don't think this threat is going to last that long. My internet might die again. Let me see. Will it or will it not? No, it won't. Okay. This time it's actually uploading without any issues. For some reason, when I upload a TikTok, like, it just, like, my internet doesn't like it. So, I don't know. Do you mind looking at Oklahoma? Just did. It's mostly just pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Nothing crazy. I'd say most of this will just be wind. Wouldn't rule out like a brief tornado, but I still think the tornado risk here is going to be pretty low. I wouldn't be really too concerned about that area at this point. Thank you, Maria, for becoming a VIP Velocity member. Appreciate the generosity. Smarts in the chat for Maria. That is the highest tier membership on the channel. Do appreciate your generosity. Alright. That is good to go. Thoughts for Alabama tomorrow? Alabama, I don't even think is in a risk tomorrow, right? I don't even think Alabama's even in, like, any risk of severe weather tomorrow. This is tomorrow's severe weather risk for reference. I'll full screen it here. This is the risk for severe weather tomorrow. So again, large slight risk of severe weather up and down the East Coast. Got a marginal threat same area basically. There could be an enhanced risk tomorrow for possibly parts of the East Coast. I would say if they do issue one, it'll probably be somewhere in here, so like New York, southern Connecticut, parts of New Jersey. Main concern in this area will be the threat for damaging winds. There could be some large hail, and there also could be the potential for a couple of tornadoes up and down the East Coast. Again, I don't know if I'll go live for this. Today I wasn't expecting to go live, and I did. And I honestly don't feel like I'll be live tomorrow, but I probably will be. So there you go. But as of right now, I don't think I'll be live, but I might. We'll see. If something looks significant, we'll go live. I mean, today we kind of went live. I just kind of went live out of spite of not really having anything to do, so we went live. But we might be live tomorrow. We'll see. It is possible. But I think more than anything, we're going to be changing, or really focusing more on what's happening as we go into next week. Because as we go into Monday into Tuesday, we're going to have a couple of larger severe weather events across the central and northern plains and eventually into the Midwest. So weather's going to get a bit more interesting by then. And then as we go into the 4th of July and also the day before that, I think overall the weather pattern is going to be more favored towards still an active weather pattern, but at least less big severe weather events for the 4th of July. And we will talk again more about all that stuff in our video forecast, which will be tomorrow morning. I am eating Culver's tonight, so there's a possibility that tomorrow could be a big day if superstition does continue. People are now messaging me that weird mesoscale discussion that got issued. Guys, I understand that it's very strange, but I have seen it. Thank you. I don't need to have more of the weird mesoscale discussion photos in my feed. It was very, very strange, and it still is. Ohio, unless you're in like southern Ohio, I think you're pretty much done. Only thing I'd be watching for is redevelopment tonight back over here in parts of northern Ohio, southern Michigan, and northeastern Indiana. There will be more than likely another round of storms developing here within the hour, and these will be mostly just wind and hail producers for anything that does develop. I don't think it'll be too bad, but just something to watch for. Actually pretty windy right now in Detroit. Someone asked about Alaska. That's nice. What should I get tonight at Culver's? Should I get the chicken tenders or should I get the burger? I think I'm gonna get the I think I'm gonna get the burger. Loose camera? It might be. It probably is. There's not much wind there. And guess what, by the way? The wind's picking up as we went past this live camera again. So the wind has decided to pick up yet again on the east side of Lebanon. Good times. All right. Camera's showing. Camera's moving, but not the trees. The trees are moving. There's the flag moving too. It's windy. I think the camera might just be loose. There was a radar Omega cyclone port that was presented yesterday in in Kansas, it was this one. This one was actually a blurry focus before, and I contacted them and they fixed it. Sometimes there are issues with the cameras. They're not all perfect, but most of them have pretty good uptime. I mean, like, usually all these cameras do stay up 24/7 for the most part. I have a theory, whenever you get Culvers, it increases the risk level by 1. I mean, to be honest with you, that's basically where we're at. We do have a new severe thunderstorm update in Oklahoma this morning. Just got upgraded to 2-inch hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. So this storm here just south of Pond Creek, that's been upgraded. Got a pretty nice outflow boundary here that's going north, west, and south. So this is basically convecting more and more thunderstorms, lots of rising motion. So severe weather will continue to be a possibility in Oklahoma. Again, mostly a wind and hail threat. Could still see an isolated brief tornado somewhere down here, but again, usually in this type of environment, we're not really going to be looking at some sort of organized tornado risk, in my opinion. So don't think it'll be too bad. But we'll stay live here for at least a little bit longer, see if anything happens. But I think overall, the majority of what we've seen today is kind of done. We do have a tornado possible label on the storm near Allentown. But again, honestly, I think overall this severe weather risk will be predominantly just isolated damaging winds and hail from here. Overall rotation just does not appear that concerning on any of these storms. Hasn't really looked too concerning most of the day. We've had a couple of little brief stints of rotation, but it's nothing crazy. You know, we've had a little bit more of an intensifying area of wind, though, right along I-71 in Ohio, so that's still going. But even then, I mean, again, we had the 2 live cams here in Southwest Ohio. We didn't really see much, but the wind kind of died out before getting to them, so. Again, that's all kind of moving east. It'll continue across Southwest Ohio for the next little while. Whenever you're not live, we get tornadoes in Oklahoma. I've been live, I feel like, for almost every tornado that's happened in Oklahoma at this point. These are all moving east, row. West to east moving storms. The ones in Pennsylvania moving a bit more east-southeast. You check Colorado? I don't think anything's happening in Colorado right now. Oh, maybe there are. There actually are some storms out there. I mean, these aren't really significant. Just some lightning, small hail, gusty winds. That'd be about it for out of this activity. We do have the whale tail for the severe weather risk today in this area, which doesn't look as much of like a tail as it did before. But we could see some large hail and damaging winds in here. It's a relatively, again, low risk across those 5 different states that are in that slight risk. That's pretty small. This fly is still here. Hopefully it didn't just get a massive pop in your ear because I was hitting my mic. I think I might have killed it, but I don't know. That one fly has been in this room literally all day, and like last night. And I think I might have just killed it. I don't know. It's a fish? I think it's more of a whale more than anything. Thump. I did nail it, no doubt. By the way, after the stream does end, or actually, I think I'm going to upload it now. We do have a YouTube short that'll be coming out. Should be out, like, now. I just uploaded it. I'm going to put the link in the chat if you want to check it out. If you're wondering about Hurricane Beryl, we just uploaded a YouTube short about it. Links in the chat 19 times. Not actually, but we just uploaded a YouTube short on that. How's Pennsylvania looking? Mostly isolated wind and hail from here. Again, I think the tornado risk overall is pretty close to 0 at this point for most of these storms. Even the ones that are over here in eastern Pennsylvania, they just have not been super organized today. Like, again, I wouldn't rule out an isolated brief spin up with this storm. I just don't think it's going to be tornadic anymore. I think the risk is dropping here in southeastern parts of Pennsylvania. Just stay weather aware. Again, I don't think there's any reason for, you know, cause for alarm or anything like that in these areas at this point. My Discord chat is very interesting right now. I've been just reading comments on it. Send max fly strips. I need, like, I have some sort of, like, thing I got. They're like little red circles. And there was stuff in them that would basically attract, like, fruit flies and stuff. I don't know what happened. Like, they just, like, the stuff I had for it disappeared. I have no clue where it went. A max velocity fly swatter? Absolutely. We gotta get it. Max velocity fly swatter. When do I plan on going live tomorrow? I don't know if we're going live tomorrow. Again, I've said this every day. It's kind of depends on what it looks like and what I'm even doing. Because, like, I'll probably be here tomorrow just kind of watching the radar. But this is what it looks like tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, there'll be storms out there. I'm not going to go live, though, probably until, like, the late afternoon. So we will be waiting for this line of storms to develop, probably between 5 and 7 o'clock. And that is what we would go live for if we go live. So, again, I don't know if we'll be live, but if we go live, it's kind of like the time I like going live. I don't love going live in the afternoon. I'd rather do it in the evening. So if we go live tomorrow, it'll be more than likely sometime after 5 or 6 o'clock Eastern. And no guarantees, but if we do go live, that's the time I'll be watching for. I am not super crazy about tomorrow's setup. I mean, I think we're going to have at least a numerous wind threat, but the tornado risk and such should stay low. I'm trying to get the wind gusts here to load up. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Doesn't look too crazy. We're going to have one initiation in the early afternoon right around here, New York, back through Delaware and Maryland. But again, it should just mostly be wind. Let's check out the tornado parameter values. Just kind of see what this looks like here. Tornado parameter values. Yeah. I don't know if we're on live. This does not look as bad as today. I mean, the only reason why we went live today is because today was a 5% tornado risk. If it was a 2%, I would have probably skipped today. And it did not pan out as a 5%. It probably could have easily been a 2%. But no matter what, I mean, you know, not a bad thing to go live. But like this right here, it just looks really minuscule. And tornado parameter values don't show you everything. Like, you have to look at hotographs and other stuff like that. But it's one indication of the threat of, you know, tornadoes and such. Just does not look super concerning for tomorrow. So, you know, I'm not super concerned about it. I don't remember the last time we had a 10% tornado risk. It's been a while. My factor code, MV50. It's all capitals. Let me double check. It's on our video from today. If you go to our video, you'll see it. Let's see. Yeah, it's as in capital M, capital V 50. And you get 50% off your First factor box. You can also just click the top link in the description below my video today, and it'll be there. New England? Well, I'm talking about significant one, not non-significant. When's the last time we had a hatched 10% tornado risk? Does anybody know? Anybody have the insider information? I know we had the main one. I'm not talking about the main one. I'm talking about the last hatched tornado risk. Hatched. Not the non-hatched. The hatched. There's a difference. The hatched means that there is at least a 10% chance within a 25-mile radius of strong tornadoes. I'm not talking about the one that we had in New England, because that was not hatched. That one did not have a strong tornado potential really attached to it. I'm just wondering if anybody knows. I can't remember. Personally. Again, not New England. All right, let me find it. Let me find out for myself. Give me 1 second here. Thank you, Candace, for becoming a VIP Velocity member. I appreciate the generosity. Put some arts in the chat for Candace, as that is our highest tiered membership on the channel. May 26th? Has it really been a month since our last one? We've been live like every day. What in the world? Yeah, that's actually right. That was a 15% too. I think that's the last time. That's crazy. It's been that long. It's been over a month. And we've had so many 5% tornado risks since then. Thank you, Connor, for the $1 super chat. I thought I'd say Connor Croft for a second. All right. 6 more minutes. So we're 3.5 hours in today's live stream. Been a decent live stream. I mean, again, not really anything too crazy today, but it's nice going live for a little bit. Weather's getting more active as we speak. We're up to 15 severe thunderstorm warnings. We got like 5 in the same storm. What in the world's happening here? We got a Dorito chip severe thunderstorm warning. We got one for Miami and Oklahoma. We got another one right here. We got 2 right here that are separate from each other. It's a crazy area here in southeast Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. Dorito chip severe thunderstorm warning. West of Joplin. We could see some flash flooding here too. These storms aren't moving very fast. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a tornado in Oklahoma. I don't think it's going to happen soon, but like we might get something along this outflow boundary. I really doubt we'll actually see one, but like I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen with this activity south of Enid. How am I doing? Not too shabby. I haven't really done anything today. Oops. I only got like 7 hours of sleep last night. Wasn't great, but I'm a little bit tired today. That's really the biggest thing, but should have get enough sleep tonight. I mean, I make videos at like 3 in the morning, so I go to bed at like 4. I got up at like 11:30 today. I had to get up at 7 to put the factor thing in the description of today's video, so, you know, unfortunately, didn't really have great sleep, but I'm hoping tomorrow get a good amount of sleep. Get some Culver's tonight, you know, get some cheese curds, if you know what I mean. Let's see what the flavor of the day here is at Culver's today. Only 7 hours? Yeah, it's only 7 today. I had 8 the day before, I think. Chocolate covered strawberry. Ew. It's not even good. I've had that before. Only 7 hours. Dang, man. Poor baby. I know. It really sucks. I do not operate well on anything less than like 6.5 hours of sleep. Anything less than that, I do not operate well at all. Just finished Culver's. I'm kind of excited to get some. I haven't had Culver's since the Wisconsin tornado outbreak. Ironically. So hopefully tomorrow is not bad. If we get Culver's tonight and we don't have anything bad tomorrow, that's a good sign. That is a good sign. Nothing bad happens tomorrow, we're good. We can get it again. Max, I love you, man. Wait until you have kids. Yeah, I mean, honestly, who knows if that's actually ever going to happen. In addition to that, I don't know anything. I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. That's for sure. So we have that problem with us, too. By the way, if you want to watch my full breakdown of the Hurricane Beryl, the link will be in the chat. It's on TikTok and on YouTube, but TikTok has a bit longer of a version. So if you want more details about Hurricane Beryl, the link is in the chat. Highly recommend you check it out. It has all the details that you need to know. It's like 1.5 minutes long, and kind of let you know what's happening with it. So check that out on TikTok. Check it out on YouTube. Links are in the chat. You can also just click on my channel and see the YouTube short version of it. YouTube short version of it, it's not as long, not as detailed, so I would recommend checking out TikTok. But if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can watch it. It's like 30 seconds shorter. So, have I had poutine before? I've actually not. Do I cover hurricanes? Oh my goodness gracious. I'm gonna ban that phrase. I'm literally gonna ban that phrase from our live chats. Go for the cashew caramel sundae. I don't know. I don't know if I really want ice cream. I'm not that hungry. I mean, I'm gonna probably get cheese curds, so that'll probably be enough. I laugh every time you say only 6 or 7. Well, some people don't get a whole lot of sleep. It actually shocks me. Like, there's a lot of people that don't get that much sleep. Like, I thought getting, 8 hours of sleep was like what everybody does, but some people only get like 4 hours of sleep. Some people get like 10 hours of sleep. I mean, it just varies, I guess, but it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna watch these storms here just in Oklahoma for a few more minutes. We're gonna see if any of these do try to develop in anything. Any native for the super chat? Appreciate the generosity. It is really a superstition at this point, though. Low key. It's crazy how many people actually get like no sleep. Like a lot of you don't either. I don't know. I can't operate on less than 7 hours. Usually like 9 hours is just too much. Like it has to be a happy medium. It's usually 8 hours for me. 8 hours and like 15 minutes. That's what I like getting. By the way, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, like the stream. If you want to become a member, the join button's down below. If you want to pick up a t-shirt on shopmaxvelocity.net, the link's also down in the description. Plugging absolutely everything. We also have Cameo. We have TikTok. We have Twitter. We have Facebook. I don't even know what else is in the description. We have a fan mail address. Send me some cheese curds. No, not actually. Don't send me food. I've actually had somebody send me food before. Just don't. It can literally end really badly. Like the food is just not something I recommend shipping at all. Where is this? We're currently we're actually in Oklahoma right now. I was just seeing if any of these storms actually try to rotate on the outflow boundary here. Add t-shirts for women. We do have to really expand our selection a bit because we don't really have that many options. Like we have shirts and stuff, but we don't have any kids sizes or anything like that. We do have to kind of expand that out a little bit. Do need to expand that out quite a bit. We'll see what the velocity show on this next scan. Thank you, Baba Booey, for the $4.99. 8 hours plus 1 hour of snooze, perfect rest. I actually have to agree with you. I do that a lot, and I have to agree. That is a 100% guarantee. I actually do that like all the time. If there's no severe weather in like the morning or whatever, I do that. Another surge of wind in Texas too. We got outflow boundaries everywhere in the central and southern plains today. It looks like this Ohio cluster of storms is beginning to weaken a bit. Again, some isolated damaging winds will continue. West Virginia, mostly just some wind right now. Again, nothing too concerning. Allentown storms back over in eastern parts of Ohio will continue to produce some damaging winds. Tornado risk does appear low at this point. It's not 0, but it's low. I do think it's low enough to the point where we don't have to really, cover this too much longer at least, because I really don't see any of these storms producing much of anything other than wind at this point. I would say one area, though, in particular that I wouldn't be surprised with some sort of surprise threat for severe weather would be in the southern plains. Like today, I wouldn't be surprised if we had some sort of brief tornado somewhere. JD, I did use your Best Buy gift card, actually. We were building a computer a few days ago. We built another one, and I had to get I got the wrong part shipped to me, like the wrong storage card, so we got a new one. So yes, I actually did use it. I didn't think I was going to, but I actually did. I had to. What about southeastern Pennsylvania? Just isolated damaging winds at this point. Nothing, I mean, any storms that happen tonight really will not change the outlook there for tomorrow. It really will not make much of a difference. All right, I'm gonna give this a couple more minutes here. I'm gonna wait for one more scan and see if anything happens, but I think all this should be mostly wind. I wouldn't rule out like a brief tornado somewhere in here. Again, I know there's no tornado risk outlined by the Storm Prediction Center, but I do think there's at least still a chance if something can get latched to an outflow boundary. But there is a severe thunderstorm watch here until 11 p.m. Central Time. My computer's on Eastern Time, so I'm kind of thrown off right now. Future members only stream soon. It's going to depend on when the weather calms down. I mean, I have not had time to really even consider that. We've had no time. Just been too busy. But maybe like sometime in mid-July, hopefully. I mean, I want to do members only stuff. It's just we have had literally no time. It's just been non-stop storms and a non-stop severe weather. I mean, everything's been relatively like low to medium. Like we've had slight risks every single day, basically. But they still sometimes do bring concerning storms and sometimes concerning tornadoes and stuff like that. So I don't like skipping out on that sort of stuff in case something does go crazy. There was a tornado in Hoopeston, Ohio. Where's Hoopeston? About 15 minutes ago. Or this is Illinois. Hoopeston, Illinois? Excuse me? This little shower right here. That's actually a storm. Never mind. This actually just produced a tornado. Near Pine Village. About 15 minutes ago. I'm retweeting the photo on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. Looks very similar to what we saw yesterday in Iowa, which is very interesting. So, I guess this produced a brief tornado. Interesting. Well, I mean, this is another one that's not called, but like, this is not something I would even warn. I mean, if I'm looking at radar, we're not warning this. There's nothing here. But this is another situation like yesterday, Iowa, we had a few tornadoes that went unwarned for a bit, but like those tornadoes were very brief. They did not look strong at all. I mean, they just kind of looked like little, you know, tubes that came out of the sky, basically. I mean, it didn't look like anything that was concerning. But in all honesty, this is not something I would warn either. It's more about the tornado itself. It's just so low to the ground, you really can't see it on radar. It's literally exactly what we saw in Iowa, though, yesterday. That's at least from the photo I saw on Twitter. The latest Storm Prediction Center outlook just put out an area here in southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, and southeastern Kansas. Their greatest short-term severe weather threat will be near Joplin, Grove, and Miami, and Bartlesville. But the severe weather threat will continue in these areas, mostly for wind and hail. Let's see if they mention anything about a tornado. No, I don't think there will be one. It still is possible. No, they didn't. So no mentioning or no rumblings about there being a possibility for a tornado. Even though there is a possibility, it's still a relatively low threat. From what I'm seeing across the board right now in Oklahoma, again, the majority of these storms should just be isolated wind and hail. At this point, I mean, I wouldn't rule out another tornado with this storm here west of Lafayette. So something to watch for. I'm gonna see if they saw another photo of that real quick. Yeah, there's the latest report on this was 18 minutes ago, but just something to watch for if you're near Lafayette. Maybe an isolated tornado. Derek, if somebody's spamming, they usually just get timed out in the chat. And politics are not allowed. Again, the rules, I think there's a command that you can actually do now. I don't know if it works. Nope, doesn't look like it. For some reason, stream elements cannot talk in the chat. I have to fix that. Oh, never mind. There it is. Rules are in the chat. And no politics whatsoever. No warnings in Ohio, no warnings in Pennsylvania. There are only warnings that are left right now are across parts of the central and southern plains. Not really a risk that we're going to be covering unless something goes crazy. So, at this point, we're going to call it. Do appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like the stream. We will possibly be live tomorrow, but I don't know if we'll have to. I don't know if tomorrow's really gonna be that big of a deal, but we'll wait and see what happens. We'll watch trends tomorrow morning. We'll have a video tomorrow morning as well, so obviously make sure to check that out. Before you leave, make sure to go check out our new YouTube short. Talks about the Hurricane Beryl and what it'll be doing, as it's gonna be a major hurricane. The link is in the chat, so definitely check it out. Or just click on my channel name and you can find it there. But that's it for today's stream. I don't think we'll be live again unless something goes crazy. So if there's another tornado on the ground, you know, maybe in Indiana, which is very possible, I probably won't be live. I'm going to go to Culver's and get food. So that's it for today, though. I do appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thanks for watching. Have a great, safe rest of your night. We might be live tomorrow. If we're not, that would be the end of the 10-day streak of live streams. So we'll see. Maybe it continues tomorrow. Maybe it doesn't. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Join our Discord server. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Links in the description. Stay safe tonight, and we'll see you guys all again soon.